Dragon Ball Super Exposure. I am a Super Saiyan. Chapter 141-160. Chapter 141 freezes kindness to save the field. Very good. That's it. Throw them all down. Seeing that Goku and Vegeta finally cooperated, Beerus hurriedly shouted with a look of joy. Nima. He has long been disliked by the realm gods of the 9th universe, and has been beeping there, no matter how he wants to destroy their prestige. Damn, Bergamo, it's all up to you. The 9th realm king god said anxiously. Don't worry, Lord Kaiwangshan, we will definitely uphold the hope of the 9th universe and defeat our opponents. Bergamo said slowly, then he looked at the two Sun Wukong and said, it just so happens that we don't need to look for you one by one, now even you two fall together. Humph, what a fool, with just a few sticks of yours, I can solve you all alone. Vegeta sneered. Our dangerous triangle formation. Not everyone can easily escape, even if you join forces, it is not our opponent. Basil sneered. Ridiculous. Who told you, we are going to join forces? You guys. Vegeta's expression was playful, and then he exploded violently, instantly bursting his own breath to the extreme. The golden brilliance radiated out, extremely dazzling. That's right, to deal with you, we don't need to join forces. Wukong smiled, and immediately lifted his breath. Suddenly, a powerful force erupted, no weaker than Vegeta. Both of them are arrogant, and Z will never join forces unless they have to, let alone to deal with these guys, there is no need to join forces at all. Super Saiyan is enough to deal with them. Looking for death? Then I'll send you out. Bergamo snorted coldly, and then he and the other two brothers rushed towards Wukong and the other two in a tacit agreement. Dangerous triangle. At this time, Vegeta suddenly shouted, Sky Cannon. Boom. Immediately, a terrifying energy wave rushed directly to Basil, who was startled, and then did not dare to fight recklessly, directly blocking Vegeta's soaring cannon. However, the opponent was also repelled by the powerful impact, and the formation of the dangerous triangular formation was washed away. Vegeta exploded and charged directly towards Basil. Basil, Bergamo and Lavanda's expressions changed drastically. Your opponent is me, don't be distracted. Wukong's voice came, and then he rushed towards Bergamo and Lavanda, hitting them with a series of punches and kicks. The two can only entangle with Goku. One pick two. In the case of transforming into a Super Saiyan, Goku is more than enough to fight two opponents, and he will not lose the slightest. The other side. Boom. With a muffled sound, a figure slipped on the ground and retreated more than 10 meters. It's Luya. Luya looked at his opponent and was a little surprised. It's interesting, I didn't expect your strength to be really unusual. The gladiator Napapa looked at Luya with a solemn expression. You can make me do my best, you are also very good. Luya raised his eyebrows. Am I being praised? Humph. Napapa let out a breath of white air, and then, he fiercely fired several energy beams towards Luya. The latter was twisted, dodging the attacks at an eerie angle. In the next second, Luya appeared directly in front of Napapa, snorted lowly, a burst of white air burst out from his body, and suddenly punched the opponent. Drink. Napapa is naturally not afraid, his arms are much thicker than Luya, so he is not afraid of anyone in terms of strength. But it's silly to hit Napapa with one punch. The huge force instantly paralyzed his entire arm, and in the next second, Napapa was smashed back by a powerful anti-shock force. A wave of air swept out, and a trace of disdain rose up at the corner of his mouth. Hercules. I'm a little disappointed. After he finished speaking, he prepared a condensed energy bullet in his hand to give the opponent the final blow. But at this moment, suddenly, an arm directly restrained Luya's neck. What? Luya was startled and wanted to break free, but the next second an arm stretched out, and his hand was imprisoned. Hey, I caught you. A strange voice sounded. It was the player who caught Luya. How could it be? Luya looked at the person who imprisoned him in shock. The other party was tall, with a unique hairstyle, light green skin, and his mouth was constantly thinking, like a fool. Luya remembered, isn't this Ning-Ke who was eliminated by Wukong? Ha, you have today too. At this moment, Napapa came over with a playful look on his face. Luya tried to struggle, but the opponent's strength was not small, and he was getting harder and harder, as if his bones were going to be crushed. Hey, you're sure to lose. Warriors of the 7th universe. Struggling. What I like most is watching my opponent struggle indifferently under my power. Ha. Ning-Ke smiled proudly. Good job, Nink. Crush his bones for me. The 4th universe god of destruction, Hitra Jia, sneered with a smug look on his face. Damn, Vera's face was a little gloomy. It seems that the players from other universes take special care of us in the 7th universe. The old realm king said slowly. They pointed Moutai at Wukong this time, because they mistakenly thought it was Wukong who instigated Quanwang to destroy the universe, so it's normal for the players in the major universes to have resentment against us in the 7th universe. Said the young king god worriedly. Ellipsis. Chi. Luya frowned a little, then turned his power to shake this guy away. But at this moment, a powerful energy bombarded him directly. Boom. Wow. Luya couldn't help but screamed in pain. It turned out to be an attack from Napapa. You guys, really, make people angry. Luya was a little angry and was about to explode. Hey, don't struggle anymore. Let me go down. Napapa gathered a powerful force in his hands, and then prepared a move to blast Luya down. Of course, he also thought about increasing his strength and bringing Ning-Ke along with him. Go. Woohoo. Immediately, Napapa began to gather momentum. What? Hey, what are you doing? Hitra couldn't see his plan to take Papa, and suddenly said angrily, this guy actually wanted to knock down the players from his universe. Hateful. Nink, let him go. Get out of the way. However, Ning-Ke didn't want to give up the opportunity to eliminate Luya, and his reaction was a little slow and self-satisfied, and he kept increasing his strength to hold Luya tight. If you do this, you have to step down. This is not a good choice. Luya looked at Ning-Ke with an ugly face. Hey, being able to perish with you is a profit for me, Ning-Ke said with a smile. Tisk tisk. Luya sneered. Just when he was trying to solve these two guys, the mutation suddenly occurred. Call out. Suddenly, a dazzling red light suddenly passed through Napapa's body. The latter's body trembled, his eyes suddenly widened, and he rushed down unwillingly. What? This change surprised everyone, and hurriedly looked at the person who shot. I saw Frieza walking over with a smile. Ho. It looks like you need help. Frieza. Luya looked at each other in surprise. Great. It was Frieza who saved Luya. The king god suddenly said in surprise. It's not the time for surprises, that guy's thoughts are hard to fathom, and he still has grudges with Luya, so maybe he will do something. The old king of the realm narrowed his eyes slightly. HMPH. I can't spare that guy if he dares to mess with him. Beerus said coldly. At this time, Frieza stepped on Napapa's body with one foot, then glanced at the latter, and smiled. What? How can such a weak guy be so troublesome? Are you not good? Luya said indifferently. I'm not your kind of person, so you won't kill him, right? Ho. Don't worry, the game stipulates that you can't kill people. I won't do that, after all, I haven't had enough fun. Frieza said jokingly. Saying that, he stretched out his finger towards Luya. How is it? Would you like me to help you? Luya sneered. Are you trying to get me down together? Frieza raised an eyebrow. Who knows? Good intentions, but... Luya's face suddenly turned cold, and the next moment he burst into anger. In an instant, a powerful force directly broke Nink away. Then, Luya kicked the opponent with a whip and slid towards the edge of the ring. Luya stretched out his hand, fired another cannonball, and took Nink away directly. Chapter 142 _ The Elimination of the 9th Universe. A race. I announce that the 4th universe player Ning-Ke is out. The voice of the great priest sounded, representing another player falling off the ring. King Quan followed by pressing the corresponding avatar, and the two little round faces were indescribably happy. It was only a matter of seconds to solve Nymph. Luya clapped his hands and looked at Frieza. Did you just want to beat me down together? Frieza smiled slightly, then kicked Napapa's fat body directly, and flew over to Luya's ear, and finally fell into the ring. How could it be? You are so powerful, I can't beat you down. Frieza smiled. Luya smiled and said, really? I thought you were trying to avenge the last time I killed you. Hearing this, Frieza seemed to have thought of something bad, and her face suddenly became ugly. You. Luya couldn't get used to the face of the other party. In the next moment, he instantly appeared in front of Frieza and punched Frieza in the stomach unceremoniously. Ouch! Frieza slammed her eyes and spit out a mouthful of white water. What's going on? The friends of Universe 7 were stunned. Hey, what are you two doing? Beerus said angrily. He was a little dissatisfied. Obviously this was fighting for the entire 7th universe, but he didn't expect these two guys to be fighting inside. What kind of system? Frieza endured the pain and looked at Luya in disbelief. The latter smiled slightly. Do you think I'm still the same me before? Bastard. Frieza looked angry. Luya retracted his fist and said lightly, it's better not to mess with me. I'm not particularly good-tempered, understand? Frieza. Frieza's body trembled slightly, but soon, he straightened up and smiled. Ho 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 ho, it's kind of interesting. I didn't expect you to grow up to this point in such a short time. It really makes me feel a little bit shocked. There are more things that will shock you. Luya said lightly, and then his body flashed and disappeared. Frieza glanced at the place where Luya disappeared, and suddenly revealed a playful smile. Your Excellency is Frieza of the 7th universe. At this moment, a sinister voice came. Frieza was stunned for a moment, then turned back to look at the person who came by, suddenly a little surprised. Aiya, your appearance surprised me. The person who came was Frost from Universe 6. At this moment, he looked at Frieza with a smile on his face. I think the two of us should have a lot of fate. Maybe we can cooperate, what do you think? Oh, cooperation. Frieza was stunned, and then a strange color flashed in his eyes, but soon, the corners of his mouth twitched. Okay, it's an honor. Ho ha ho ho. The two looked at each other and smiled, a little weird. Damn, I thought those two guys were going to fight. I was happy for nothing. Champa said regretfully. Hey, what do you mean? Beerus looked at Champa with some unhappiness. Champa sneered. You know what I mean best, Beerus. There is only one universe that can survive this power conference, so I will never be polite. Really? Let's try it. Beerus said indifferently. He didn't have any worries about the people of the 6th universe, because they were the 7th universe, but they were specializing in the 6th universe. Boom boom boom. At this time, somewhere, an extremely fierce battle was going on. Immediately afterwards, Goku and Vegeta played princely tactics, pushing the three werewolf brothers to the edge of the ring. Under the attack of the two Super Saiyans, they were simply overwhelmed. Damn, why did their power increase so much? Bergamo said with an ugly face. What do I do now? Basil glanced at the arena behind him. It was pitch black, as if it was hell. Once he fell, everything would return to zero. We can't lose. There are only 3 of us left in the 9th universe. So we must not lose. Brothers, show our true strength. Bergamo snorted coldly, and in the next moment, they burst out in vain. The power of Goku and Vegeta get together. The preparations are over. Kakarot, Vegeta said coldly. I understand. Wukong's eyes narrowed, and the next moment, they burst into gas, instantly raising their power to Super Saiyan Blue. Turtle, Pi, Chi. Ultimate. The two struggled to boost their energy, and at the same time opened a big move, ready to solve the opponent. At the same time, the 3 werewolf brothers also gathered energy, and the next moment they roared and fired a powerful energy shock wave, and the 3 forces directly lashed at Goku and Vegeta. Gong. Flash. Goku and Vegeta roared at the same time, and at the next moment, they made a big move at the same time, and instantly collided with the energy shockwave of the three werewolf brothers. Ah! At the same time, both sides tried their best to boost their energy, trying to turn the tide, but it was obvious that the power of Goku and Vegeta was stronger, and the power of the three werewolf brothers was suppressed in an instant. No, impossible. Ah! Boom! Immediately, the edge of the arena where the three werewolves stood shattered. Immediately, they were directly blasted by two forces and fell. That's great. Beerus and Kaiwang God suddenly burst into excitement. No, the Ninth Realm King God's face revealed despair, and this time, their ninth universe was all eliminated. Done. With the appearance of the Grand Priest, he smiled slightly and said, "Now, I announce that Lavanda, Basil, and Bergamo from Universe 9 will all be eliminated. At the same time, all 10 contestants of Universe 9 will be eliminated. 9 universes will be erased." As soon as these words came out, the whole place fell silent. Only the playful voice of King Quan, under their excited emotions, suddenly, on the God pad in the two hands, the page of the ninth universe directly darkened. "It's all dark," King Zuo Quan exclaimed. Yeah, it's all dark. It's so fun," King Yuquan said with a smile. Now, the ninth universe has become the first universe to be eliminated. According to the rules, the ninth universe will be eliminated. No, Lord Quanwang. The ninth realm king was unwilling to ask for mercy with snot and tears. But King Quan didn't give him a chance. Two small hands suddenly stretched upwards, and a white light lit up in their hands. Grip. In the next second, the two Quanwangs directly shook hands, and immediately, the ninth universe and others who were sitting in the auditorium disappeared directly. Before they disappeared, their faces were full of loss and despair. Disappeared. At this moment, everyone was silent, and their faces were extremely solemn. It wasn't until the universe was really wiped out that they understood that defeat really had to be wiped out. The pressure of the crowd began to increase. "Hey, Weiss, how's the situation in Universe 9 now?" Beerus suddenly asked with cold sweat on his face, thinking of something. When Weiss heard the words, he also activated the scepter and saw the ninth universe through the crystal ball. "Oh, it's blank, there is no matter." What? Hearing this, Beerus' face suddenly became extremely solemn. Really, it was erased. The gods also broke out in cold sweat, and they all looked in the direction of King Quan. The erasure of the ninth universe also allowed them to see the power of King Quan once again. This existence stands at the apex of the entire universe. Control the life and death of all people, including all gods. Now things are getting serious. Luya, who has seen it, has no influence. He knows that if the seventh universe wins, he will also make a wish to resurrect all universes. Of course, second only to the seventh universe, because Luya won't believe that if the guys from other universes win, will they make a wish for themselves selfishly. Not for the sake of righteousness. Therefore, the premise is that their seventh universe will win. In this way, you can only give it a go. Hey, at this moment, a burst of pink energy struck directly behind Luya. Incredibly fast. Chapter 143_Eliminators appear in the seventh universe. Aware of the attack, Luya's face did not change. He raised his hand to directly condense his strength, and instantly disintegrated the attack. Who is it? Luya looked at the attacker. Hee, I didn't expect to be noticed by you. At this moment, a short figure came out. Luya looked at each other, and then smiled. Who do I think it is? You look like this, reminds me of the Adelaide star. Adetra. Luya thought of teleportation when he thought of this name. No doubt, Wukong's teleportation was learned from there. The other party is from the second universe. Second universe. As if thinking of something, Luya glanced around and found that there was no one else, and he was relieved. Fortunately, those women were not there. Hello, what are you looking at? Swish, 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 swish. The other party dropped a sentence and flashed directly around Luya. Luya smiled slightly, and then directly cast flash time. Click. Suddenly, the time around him suddenly stopped, and then, the other party's figure appeared directly beside Luya. Luya smiled. My flash time, specializing in high-speed movement. Saying that, he condensed an energy bomb in his hand, and the next moment, he directly took the opponent away. After eliminating the opponent, Luya glanced at the situation of the others. At this time, Vegeta was in a fierce battle with Bodama and Magetta in the 6th universe, but at this time Bodama and Magetta joined forces to transform Vegeta into a Super Saiyan. Is not able to solve the opponent. On the other side, Krillin and number 18 are dealing with the werewolf Shayasa and the Smell Master Margiela in the 4th universe. Goku competes with Caulifla from Universe 6. Everyone is in the middle of a fierce battle. Luya smiled slightly, as if thinking of something, his figure suddenly disappeared. Da 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 da. On the other side, Vegeta kept attacking Bodama and Magetta, but the defenses of the two were too strong, and even he couldn't crack the other's defense, causing no damage. Damn, Vegeta was a little annoyed, and the other party showed all his weaknesses to countermeasures, which made him a little helpless. Humph. No matter how much you scold, Magetta won't hear it. Vegeta, admit defeat, Bodama said proudly. Vegeta sneered. Really? In this case, let's play with you. After he finished speaking, he exploded his air violently, instantly raising his strength to the extreme. Humph. Useless work. Bodama sneered, then cooperated with Magetta to attack Vegeta directly. The three are directly caught in a stalemate battle, and no one can do anything about the other. Ellipsis. On the other hand, Kling saved number 18, and his opponent Shayasa almost eliminated number 18 by playing dead. Fortunately, Kling rescued her in time. It's okay, number 18. Kling asked with a smile. It's okay. Number 18 was a little embarrassed. I didn't expect to be careless. The enemy is very cunning. It's better to be careful. Kaylin looked at Xiaoxia and showed a smile. I didn't expect you to be so good at pretending to be dead, and even number 18 was deceived by you. He. It's a pity, she was almost eliminated. Xiao Sa sneered. You won't have a chance. Next, I will give it back tenfold. Number 18 said coldly. Really? Come on then, Xiao Sa said disdainfully. Number 18, remember the tricks we practiced? Krillin suddenly said. Remember. Did you mean that? What's the matter? Number 18 was stunned for a moment, then asked in confusion. Try it today, Krillin laughed. Okay. Number 18 did not refuse. What are you babbling about there? Xiaoxia sneered. Come on. Krillin and number 18 moved instantly, and in the next second, Klein suddenly condensed an energy bomb and shot directly at Xiaoxia. The latter snorted coldly, then jumped and avoided directly, but in the next instant, number 18 appeared in front of the energy bomb and pushed it back directly. What? Xiao Sa's face changed greatly, and he hurriedly dodged. But Krillin didn't give him a chance to breathe. The two continued to shoot energy bullets at Shayasa as if they were fighting each other, and the latter could only dodge in embarrassment. But what can be found is that this energy bomb is getting bigger and faster, and gradually even Xiao Sa feels it is difficult. What? Xiao Sa could no longer keep up with the opponent's attack, and was directly bombarded by a huge energy bomb. The next moment, he screamed and flew out, and finally fell off the ring. Success, Clinton said excitedly. Very good. Well done, little bald. Beerus was very relieved when he saw that Krillin could eliminate his opponent. Krillin can be said to be the weakest in their team this time, but he was able to eliminate his opponent, which is the best result. Keelan was a little proud, but at this moment, an afterimage suddenly struck, and before Keelan could react, he was kicked away. Wow! With a bang, Krillin fell directly to the ground. Krillin, it's not good. Beerus and the others hadn't been happy for a few seconds, and suddenly this kind of change happened again. Ha ha ha, careless boy, get me down. At this moment, a werewolf suddenly flew over and pointed at Krillin. At the critical moment, number 18 saved the field and kicked the opponent directly with one kick. Krillin, are you alright? Number 18 raised Krillin worriedly. I'm careless. Kling looked at his opponent. He, I didn't expect to be attacked. The werewolf sneered at Kaylin and the others. Who are you? Krillin asked, looking at his opponent. My name is Margiela, and I belong to the 4th universe. Remember my name, otherwise, you don't know who defeated you. Margiela smiled, and the next second, he charged directly at Keelan past. Number 18, put this on. Kling suddenly took out a pair of sunglasses and handed it to number 18. The latter understood and put on his sunglasses. Kaylin condensed his consciousness to look at his opponent, and then spread his hands against his temples, 100 times sun fist. Swish. In an instant, the field was full of white light. But Margiela, who charged towards Keelan, did not have any influence, but rushed directly in front of Keelan and kicked Keelan with one kick. What? Ouch! Krillin screamed and fell directly to the ground. At the same time, Margiela directly hit number 18, who had not yet reacted, and also fell. How is that possible? How can he still attack under such a dazzling light? How did he do it? Beerus said in disbelief. This is bad. Isn't even the sun fist useful? The king god said worriedly. Ha, I thought you guys would have some tricks, it's ridiculous. Margiela looked at Klein and the others proudly. Kling couldn't believe it. How did you do it? Ha, because of my eyes, I lost my sight a long time ago. Margiela said lightly. Blind? Then why are you able to attack with such precision? Klein was startled and a little surprised. It's the sense of smell. He uses the sense of smell to identify directions. Number 18 said. Ha, yes, it's still smart. Margiela said proudly. Your tricks are useless to me. Humph. That's a possibility. As long as you understand your tricks, you can definitely win. Klein suddenly showed a confident smile. Number 18. Leave it to me. The latter was startled, but... Trust me, I can do it, Krillin said firmly. Hearing this, the 18th can only agree. Ha, it's up to you, what can you do against me? Margiela mocked. Hey, you are very sensitive to smells, so... Krillin smiled strangely, then suddenly took off his shoes and threw them out. Snapped. In an instant, his shoes were buckled directly on Margiela's nose. What smell? It smells bad. Margiela's face changed greatly, and she quickly covered her nose. Hey, Krillin smiled proudly, and then he suddenly disappeared, appearing directly in front of Margiela, and used a series of tricks on him. How dare you attack my number 18? You must pay the price. One kick knocked the opponent back, and Kaylin suddenly gathered his chi, turtle. Pi, chi, gong. Ah. Under an astonishing force, the opponent was bombed directly and fell into the ring. The Grand Priest announced that Margiela was out, and Beerus and others were all excited. Good job. Ha, Krillin smiled smugly. No, 18 covered his face. Looks like I'll help you wash your shoes when you go back. And just when the two were relaxing, suddenly, a figure appeared behind Kaylin. Ho, are you so happy? You seem to be careless. What? Krillin was startled, looking back just to see Frost's sinister face. It's not good. Beerus and Kaiwang Shen suddenly looked awkward. Leave your back to the enemy. Then, goodbye. Frost smiled proudly, then swept his tail and directly knocked Kling off the ring. Ah! Kling's screams echoed and he appeared in the audience the next second. The first player in the 7th universe, eliminated. P.S. Every year in the summer of the beginning of the year, a mysterious organization will show up to recruit talents from all over the country, and I will sacrifice my life to break into the organization. Chapter 144_Crush Frost, Hit Debuts. Krillin was eliminated. For a time, the friends in the 7th universe were a little shocked. Why are you so careless? Swish. In the next instant, Krillin appeared in the spectator seat. Before Krillin came back to his senses, Beerus said sullenly beside him, you seem to be floating a little. Bald head. Ah, Then, that, Lord Beerus, Krillin's whole body trembled, and he was suddenly embarrassed to the extreme. It was a great achievement. I didn't expect to be careless for a while and didn't realize that the enemy had come behind. I'm sorry, Krillin quickly apologized. It doesn't matter. We all know, Keelan, you have done your best. The king god also said, although the words were comforting, but his expression was a little unhappy. I'm sorry, Krillin said embarrassedly. Forget it, this is the end of the matter, let's cheer for the partners in the field. The old realm king sighed and said lightly. Yes, Krillin could only bite the bullet and agree. Oh ha ha ha, see no Beerus, your people are being eliminated by my 6th universe. It turns out that our 6th universe is stronger than your 7th universe. Champa suddenly laughed proudly. You bastard, Beerus clenched his fists in anger. Although the elimination of Krillin was expected by them, it was too fast. Very good. Well done, Frost. Throw them all down for me, Zampa said with satisfaction. Ho ha ho ho, thank you for taking care of me, Mr. Champa. Frost smiled proudly, then looked at number 18, who was gnashing his teeth. You bastard, dare to sneak attack on Kaylin. The 18th can be said to be very angry at this time. Kaylin is her husband, but he was attacked by this shameless guy. How could she not be angry? Ho ho, this is an accident that can happen at any time in the battlefield. It can only be said that the little bald head is too complacent. Unfortunately, this game can't kill people, Frost said jokingly. You bastard, I must avenge Kling, number 18 shouted angrily, and was about to start. Humph, I'm not going to fight you stupidly. Goodbye. Frost fired a cannonball directly, and the whole place was filled with smoke in an instant. Damn, number 18 feet's face was a little ugly. But the other party has escaped. Just when she secretly said what a pity, a scream came, and then a figure flew out of the smoke, and finally slammed into the convex stone beside number 18. What's wrong? Champa was startled, because the one who flew out was actually Frost. 18 is also puzzled. Until Luya came out of the smoke. Sneak attack, this is indeed a good combat plan. Luya, Kaylin said in surprise. Very good, Luya, throw that despicable and shameless guy down. Beerus became excited when he saw Luya appear. Oops, Weiss also laughed. Luya looked at number 18 on the side, he gave it to me. No, 18 shook his head. No need, I want to avenge Krillin myself. Alright then, Luya nodded, ready to leave. Ah, but for the next second, Frost suddenly rushed over. Your guy. Give me a death. Available saiyan. Seeing that Frost was about to punch Luya, the latter suddenly raised his hand and easily grabbed the opponent's fist. What? Frost said in shock. Deal with me. Hee hee, Hit can't win against me, what are you? Luya sneered, then quickly stepped out and swept his foot heavily on the opponent's stomach. Ouch! Frost vomited directly, with a mask of pain on his face. Luya didn't plan to let the other party go. He punched out immediately, and plunged into the other party's stomach fiercely. At the same time, the golden light on his fist lit up, and the next second, Frost was directly rushed out, smashed to the ground, and twitched. Luya's figure flashed, and he appeared directly in front of the other party, looking at him indifferently. A villain like you is as annoying as Frieza. As he said that, he directly stretched out his hand and fired a gas bomb, and an explosion sounded immediately. The smoke dissipated, Frost was lying on the ground in embarrassment, and cracks appeared in the ring. How? Possible? Frost couldn't believe it. Why he had grown so much, why was he not the opponent's opponent? He doesn't believe it. Immediately, Frost was angry, a deep purple light radiated, and the next moment he jumped up directly, smashing Luya with a roaring punch. The latter's eyes were cold, and the next moment, he appeared in front of Frost strangely, and punched the opponent's stomach. In an instant, a red fist penetrated the opponent's body, and even the hill not far behind the opponent burst apart. Frost's eyes widened. How could you also? He was extremely impressed by this move. When he played against Universe 7, Hyder used this move to knock him unconscious. But now, the old tricks are repeated. He still can't stop it. Snapped. Frost knelt down in embarrassment, shaking his body constantly. Luya glanced at the other party, then looked at number 18, I'll give it to you. The latter nodded, then walked up to Frost with cold eyes. Help, help. Frost was embarrassed, he wanted to say something, but the pain made him unable to speak. Go down and reflect. Number 18 snorted coldly, and then she kicked Frost, and flew directly towards the edge of the ring. No, who will save him? Shampa said in a panic. But just as Frost was about to fall, time suddenly stopped, and then, Frost's figure was suddenly hit back by an unknown force. What? This scene surprised Beerus and the others who were ready to be happy. Luya narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Hit who helped him. You are here. Hit glanced at Frost under his feet, and then looked at Luya. He can't be defeated so easily. Luya grinned. Then let's be friends together. No, 18 is also in a fighting posture. She can feel that the opponent is not easy. Hit stretched out his hand from his trousers pocket, also posing. Come on then. Exactly, after the last battle, I got a promotion, so I will use you to practice my hands. Luya smiled, and then thought of something. He suddenly looked behind a hill and said with a smile, Don't hide, do you want to go up together? Soon as the words fell, a figure walked out slowly, and his tail swayed. Ho 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 ho, I'm rude, and it was discovered. Fliza. Number 18 froze for a moment, then frowned. Luya glanced at Frost, then looked at Frieza. You should be allied with that guy, right? That's right. But correct me, he wants to form an alliance with me. Frieza shrugged and laughed. Luya said lightly, Jing play with these bells and whistles. Since that's the case, do you want to go together? Frieza glanced at number 18, then at Hit, and then shrugged. Forget it, I won't interfere in your battle, so as not to say that I bullied you. Of course, it's all from the universe, what do you think? Luya sneered, although the other party is indeed a little bit bells and whistles, but in the end, he still owes much to this guy, because of this, otherwise Luya will beat him together. And Frieza also turned around and left very wisely, calmly. Luya watched Frieza walk away, and then looked at number 18. Leave it to me here, you go to deal with other opponents. The latter glanced at Frost hesitantly, and then he could only nod his head. I understand. After speaking, she jumped up and left. Hit glanced at Luya and said, Can we start? Luya looked at him with a smile and said, How many seconds has your flash time increased to? Hit was stunned for a moment, but the next moment, Luya's figure was already in front of Hit. Flash time is used. Hit's eyes narrowed, directly blocking Luya's attack. You also have flashbacks. Hyder was a little shocked. Since the last time I fought with you, I have also learned to flash. Luya said with a smile. Hit looked at Luya with some fear. You guy, you are more dangerous than Sun Wukong. Chapter 145 Luya fights Hit again. Battle of the Flash. Boom boom boom. In the field, Luya and Hit fought fiercely, but neither of them used their real strength, and they were just a test at the beginning. On the other hand, when the two were fighting, Frost also recovered a little. He glanced at the battle, and then his eyes showed a hint of obscurity, but after all, he didn't dare to stay. In this power conference, as long as he stays at the end, that's the only way real winner. Thinking of this, Frost secretly left. On the other side, Vegeta, who was fighting a player from another universe, also went to Luya's side to fight, and then the prince's face sank. That guy, he was actually pretending to be there. In fact, he also wanted to fight Hit to avenge the time. At the same time, Wukong also noticed it, and said with some pity, It's a pity, I also want to fight Hit. Hello. Suddenly, a voice sounded behind itself. Wukong was stunned for a moment, then turned to look at the person who came, only to see two young girls walking slowly, headed by a spiky head, with a delicate face full of arrogance who looked at everyone as trash, and she behind him. There is a bit of a twisted girl, who seems to be afraid of life. Wukong saw them. He was also interested. Yo. If I remember correctly, you are Saiyans from the 6th universe, right with Gabe? That's right. My name is Caulifla, her name is Kai, and she is my junior. By the way, you are the uncle of Sun Wukong, right? Caulifla said proudly, and then looked at Wukong somewhat provocatively. Ah, it's me, what's wrong? Wukong was a little puzzled. Hey, I've been paying attention to you for a long time just now. What kind of blue-haired thing of yours, how did you transform? Teach me, Caulifla asked. What, did you mean Super Saiyan Blue? Goku laughed. Whatever it is, you teach me to transform. Of course, in return, I will use that form to defeat you. Caulifla said proudly. Sister, what kind of reward is this? Kair said embarrassedly, unable to bear it any longer. Is that so? However, it's still a little difficult for you to transform into a Super Saiyan Blue. Goku thought about it, and said the truth. Why is it so difficult? Caulifla said in disbelief, isn't it gathering strength on your back? Well, that's the truth, but blue is not so simple. Wukong said helplessly. Hey, what the hell, how dare you underestimate me? Caulifla said arrogantly, and then she burst into anger and turned into a Super Saiyan. How is it strong? Caulifla said proudly. It's kind of like. Wukong was a little interested. Humph, then you can taste my power next time. After saying that, Caulifla charged directly towards Wukong. Seeing this scene, Kair hesitated. ... What? Boom. There was a blast, and then, a powerful force swept in, and the next second, a figure flew out. Luya's center of gravity fell, and he landed directly, rubbing the ground and sliding for more than 10 meters. On the other side, Hit came slowly, expressionless. Kill him, Hit, for me. Knock this Saiyan down and be ashamed. Come on, Champa shouted excitedly. Hey, it's too early to be proud. Beerus smiled lightly. The other party didn't know. How could he not know that the current lure is no longer the state he was in the game, and now his strength has skyrocketed? There are too many. Both of them didn't do their best, and they tried each other while saving their energy. The old Realm King said lightly. If that's the case, wouldn't it be impossible to tell the winner? The young Realm King said with some doubts. That's why you should study more. Even if you are a real-world king, you don't have any eyesight. The old real-world king said indifferently. Realm King God. Under this kind of melee, it is very important to save physical strength, even if the time limit is short, but once a high-intensity battle is carried out, there will be countless changes every minute and every second. There were sneak attacks, Weiss explained. This way, Realm King God suddenly realized. However, Hit's power is very powerful. Can Luya really win? Klein asked worriedly. Trust him, Beerus said lightly. Ellipsis. I'm so happy. It's getting more and more exciting. Zuo Quanwang danced. There are so many masters. It's so beautiful. King Yuquan also danced in a similar manner. With the elimination of many masters, the rest are all elites, and the competition will become more and more exciting, so stay tuned. The great priest smiled slightly. In the field, Luya patted the dust on his body, then looked at the other party and grinned. It seems that you are waiting for me to exert all my strength. Hit said lightly, your strength is indeed more than that. Use it, use the flash against me, it won't work. It makes sense. Luya nodded, then began to breathe, and then Luya's hair fluttered, one black and one gold flickering. Ha! With a low voice, Luya turned into a Super Saiyan in an instant. Before it stopped, he lifted his breath again and instantly rose to the second rank of Super Saiyan. Seeing that Luya seemed to be content with the status quo, Hyder was stunned. What? Why don't you continue to improve? Can't you use the king's fist? Luya crooked his neck. Don't be so troublesome. Come on, continue. Hit glanced at Luya, then clenched his fist slightly, and then his expression changed, and he punched out in an instant. Swish. Violet blue fist energy shot out directly. It's not just boxing. Hit also cast flash time in advance. And the control time of flash time is longer than that of Luya. When Luya was about to rush in front of him, he was able to escape, and when he realized the crisis, Luya gritted his teeth, and suddenly burst out with a punch. Boom. Under a sonic boom, Luya's body flew out. But soon, time stands still again. In the next instant, Hit's figure was already in front of Luya, and a terrifying power bullet had been condensed in his hand. Although you can flash, you're still too tender. As he said, Hit had already fired an energy bomb. But just when the energy bullet was about to hit Luya, suddenly, Luya's figure suddenly disappeared. What? Hit was surprised, not expecting this change. Suddenly, Luya suddenly appeared behind him and punched him directly. Wipe. Hit tilted his head subconsciously, and immediately avoided the opponent's attack, but even so, his face was still scratched. Hit's eyes froze, and the next moment, his figure kept retreating. And Luya also flipped after a somersault and landed. It's kind of interesting, to use the pressure of my flash to break through myself. Hit said with some sigh, but there was a smile on his face. Luya smiled slightly, just at the critical moment, his flash time forcibly broke the 1-second limit. So it broke out in an instant, and it broke Hit's flash time. However, are you sure you can break through my confinement next time? My flash time skill is far above yours. Hiter suddenly showed a confident smile and said. Come and try, Wukong can break your flash, why can't I? Luya laughed. That's what I said, but if you only have this level, you won't be my opponent. Hit said indifferently, the opponent is only at this Super Saiyan stage, it is impossible to deal with his flash. Of course, if it is Super Saiyan Blue, then there is still a threat to him. Hearing this, Luya suddenly showed a smile. This is not enough, since that's the case. With that said, Luya suddenly dispersed the Super Saiyan and changed back to his normal form, but the next moment he started to explode again, and a powerful force suddenly erupted. Brilliant. Woohoo. Suddenly, Luya directly transformed into the Super Saiyan God. This is a form different from Blue. Hit's eyes narrowed, a little cautious. The other's form made him unable to feel the other's breath, but at the same time, it also gave him a sense of danger. The other party could threaten him. This is the form of the Super Saiyan God. Although it is not a pure God, its strength can be said to be an earth-shaking change. Luya grinned. Chapter 146-Secret Sniper. Mutation. The appearance of the Super Saiyan God also attracted the attention of the gods. That Saiyan turned into a god, although it can only be regarded as a demigod, but this kind of power is still very good. The realm of the first universe said indifferently. I didn't expect that there are mortals who can cultivate to become gods. It's really a miracle. His god of destruction was also somewhat complicated. Anyway, Universe 7, although the human level is ranked at the bottom, their strength should not be underestimated. Every player has something extraordinary, especially these Saiyans. Therefore, we must solve it. Universe 7, the first show is to get rid of these Saiyans. There was a faint glint in the eyes of the Kaiking god of Universe 11. Let this matter be left to Jiren. No matter how strong they are, no one will be Jiren's opponent. The clown destruction god said lightly, he has great confidence in this regard. At this time, other universe players also had a fierce confrontation. On the other hand, Goku is in a high-speed confrontation with Caulifla. Both of them are in the stage of Super Saiyan 2. Before this, Goku taught Caulifla to successfully perform the second stage of Super Saiyan. The transformation of the opponent, so after the opponent's transformation is successful, they will start to learn from Wukong. Of course, Wukong is naturally very happy to learn from such a powerful opponent. The two fought hard, and they cherished each other's opponents. They didn't let out the slightest bit of water in the fight. Saiyans are characterized by belligerence, and their strength will become stronger and stronger with the battle. However, if you look closely, it is obvious that Goku is suppressing Caulifla. The latter is not skilled enough with his own strength. Of course, this is not a problem. Due to Goku's character, fortunately, he did not have a problem with Caulifla. Under the Black Hand. On the other side, Kale looked at the two who fought so fiercely that they almost lost themselves, with a hint of envy and complexity in his eyes. Sister, she should be very excited to meet such a powerful opponent. If she can also transform, then she can help. She is really useless. Thinking of this, Kaire's eyes suddenly showed a hint of disappointment and guilt. She would only drag her sister down. Woohoo. With a scream, a player was directly thrown off the ring. And the person who shot was number 17. No, 17 was expressionless, but he was calm in the face of his opponents. In his opinion, most of the players here were a bit too hydrated, and they couldn't make him happy at all. As an artificial man, he has unlimited physical strength and energy, so in battle, he can use his hands and feet without any scruples. As long as he does not reach the limit, his power will continue to flow. Call out. Suddenly, a ray of light shot out and shot directly behind number 17. When the latter perceives it, they will react. Swish. Bump. At this moment, another powerful force also shot out, directly offsetting the attack. No, 17 was stunned for a moment, then looked at the person who shot. Sister. Person who came was number 18. He looked at number 17 and showed a radian. What? You are in a trance. No, 17 smiled lightly. If it wasn't for you, I would have avoided it. Who knows? Number 18 smiled lightly. I said you guys, how dare you ignore me? Came an angry voice. The siblings followed the voice and saw a wild boar in a suit staring at them angrily. A talking pig. Number 18 raised his eyebrows. Idiot, how dare you insult Dr. Ben? The wild boar snorted coldly, his voice full of anger. Really, although I like animals, but seeing you guys makes me feel a little sick. Number 17 said lightly, but the words were very insulting. Bastard. You. The wild boar was about to speak, but suddenly number 17 and number 18 rushed up at the same time. The other side. Luya and Hit are still facing each other. They look at each other with calm eyes, but they are extremely wise. And at this moment, Luya moved, only to see his feet padded, and rushed out the next moment, and in an instant, his figure suddenly disappeared. Hit snorted coldly, and then punched in one direction. The same punch from the air is powerful. Swish. In the direction of the fist strength, Luya's figure flashed, but he perfectly avoided Hit's attack. At the same time, Luya's figure rushed directly towards Hit. Hit was not to be outdone, and when he moved, he also disappeared. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of collision sounded, and the speed of the two people was so fast that they could not see their trajectory at all. Call out, call out, call out. The figures of Luya and Hit continued to flash, and at the same time, their eyes met, and there was a trace of excitement in their eyes. Luya condensed the energy bomb in his hand and shot it directly. When Hit directly turned on the flash, his figure flashed by in an instant, dodging Luya's attack, and at the same time attacking Luya. Luya grinned, not afraid at all, and the power was continuously stimulated, and he also used the flash to the extreme. At the same time, he started the battle with the strongest talent, and for a while, the gap disappeared at this moment. Luya not only became stronger and stronger in the battle, but he also learned from the opponent's flash when he cast Domo. Although the price of such distraction is that he suffered several attacks from Hit, he did not have the slightest bit of it. Retreat, but fight more and more bravely. At the same time, Hit also discovered that the other party's aura was getting stronger and stronger, and there was a faint trend of breaking through the limit. This made him a little complicated, but he didn't dare to be careless, and his strength was gradually improving. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, a powerful collision sounded, and the next second, Hit and Luya's figures both retreated. At this time, Luya had some scratches on his body, but his aura of God was getting stronger and stronger. Your progress is very obvious. Hit looked at Luya and said lightly. Luya smiled slightly. This is normal operation, just get used to it. Then come again, Hit said indifferently, and then, he suddenly stepped out. Suddenly, his figure turned into afterimages, and at the same time, his body had already appeared on the road. In front of Ya, a punch slammed down. Luya crossed his hands subconsciously in front of him. Bump. The next second, he was directly repelled. When Luya stepped back, an alarm bell suddenly sounded in his heart, and the next moment he twisted violently and forcibly rushed to the side. Call out. I saw a small hole in the place where he was originally. Face sank. Someone is attacking. Who is it? Call out, call out, call out. At the same time, several beams of laser beams came, and the target was Luya. Luya's face changed, and then he quickly avoided, looking around vigilantly. Hit also frowned and looked around, a hint of coldness in his eyes. Is it Frieza or Frost? Luya was puzzled. In his impression, only Frieza and Frost had the ability to shoot light. This is a battle between us. Warn you, don't shoot. Hyder suddenly shouted. The atmosphere was silent for a moment, and the next second, a laser hit directly. The latter's face suddenly became gloomy, and then his eyes condensed, and the laser immediately solidified. Dissipated immediately. Not from our universe. Luya glanced around, puzzled. Sniper. What? Hit's face turned cold. I can't feel the opponent's anger. It should be far away from us. Luya said helplessly. If the opponent was around him, he would solve the opponent in minutes, but the opponent was also cunning and attacked from a long distance. Hit was also a little wary, and neither of them made another move. The strange thing is that as the two did not make a move, the person hiding in the dark did not attack again. Sly guy. Luya thought for a while, then looked at Hit. Hey, let's stay in the battle between us. Hit glanced at Luya, then nodded. I have no opinion. Luya nodded and then returned to normal. At this moment, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly filled the entire arena. With a roar like a beast. Luya and Hit's expressions changed. The power of the Saiyans. It's Kale's power. Chapter 147-Legendary Super Saiyan. As the aura that covered the entire arena came out, everyone was startled, and they all turned their attention to the source of the aura. And there, a sturdy green-haired monster is roaring, and the terrifying aura spreads directly to the audience. Amazing. Not far away, both Wukong and Caulifla looked at this scene in disbelief, as if they didn't believe what was happening in front of them. Hey, Kyle, calm down, Caulifla shouted at the monster. However, the latter did not listen at all, and kept reciting the name of Sun Wukong in his mouth. That monster. Vegeta also noticed that power, and his face suddenly looked a little ugly. That power made his heart tremble, as if it came from the suppression of the blood. Unusual power. That's Kair. How did she become like this again? Gabe was also a little ashamed, obviously thinking of something bad. That monster is a little troublesome. On the other side, Toppo said with a dignified expression. Beside him was Jiren, whose face was still calm. Ellipsis. Sun Wukong, Sun Wukong, Sun Wukong, Kai roared. It was because of this Saiyan that she took her sister away, and she became impatient with her. She wants to kill Sun Wukong. Hey, Kale, calm down. Don't become a tool for killing people. Seeing that the situation was not good, Caulifla immediately flew to Kale. But Kair had already entered the mode of not recognizing six relatives at this time, and suddenly she saw her punch directly towards Caulifla, who came over. The latter was startled and could only raise his hand to block. But Caulifla obviously underestimated Kale's power after the transformation, and suddenly a powerful force directly shook her out. Boom! A hill exploded directly. Kelton burst out with a powerful force, and these forces directly turned into gas bombs and shot out in all directions without dead ends. Boom boom boom. Immediately, the masters from all walks of life could only avoid Kangmang, because that kind of power was simply too amazing. What's going on? What kind of species are Saiyans? How can they have such power? The gods watched this scene in shock, because they had seen strong winds and waves, and they were also violently attacked by Kair. He looked startled. How? What form is this? Why have I never seen Goku and the others changed? Beerus also showed a look of disbelief. Oh, this seems to be a unique way of transformation for Saiyans, but it is extremely easy to lose one's sense of being transformed into such a warrior. But the power is devastating. I can feel that female Saiyan the power is increasing at a very amazing speed. Weiss also showed an interested look. This is troublesome. Not only Wukong encounters a strong enemy, I am afraid that all the attention of the universe will be attracted. The old Realm King said worriedly. Come on, Goku. Krillin was also worried. What's going on? Has Kair transformed herself? But why did she turn into a monster? Champa scratched his head, puzzled. Vados suddenly said, I heard Gabe say that Kair seems to have some kind of powerful power, but the awakening of this power should come from the master's emotions, and what Gabe said is what he looks like now, right? Quote. Humph. If it wasn't for the strong request of the female Saiyan Califra, Kale's strength would not be able to represent the sixth universe to participate, and if she attracted hatred from other universes because of her, it would be troublesome. Some gloomy way. That's not necessarily true. From what it looks like, there are very few people who can defeat Kair in his current state. Vados smiled slightly. Ellipsis. Sun Wukong, I'm going to kill you. Kair, who was roaring, suddenly charged towards Sun Wukong. Wukong's face froze, but then his eyes suddenly showed a hint of war. This kind of power that makes my soul tremble, come on. Kair, let me see and see. Saying that, he suddenly rushed out towards Kair. Ha. Because of Kair's slow speed, Goku appeared directly in front of her, and then his fists like raindrops continued to bombard her, but when he hit Kair with the power of Super Saiyan 2, the opponent seemed to have nothing to do. Snapped. Suddenly, Kair seemed to be impatient, and directly clasped Wukong's face, then roared fiercely, and then slammed Wukong to the ground, rubbing the ground and rushing directly. Wukong screamed as his body kept smashing boulders. Dad. Gohan saw his father being beaten, and immediately wanted to rush over to help. Gohan, don't go. We can't get involved in the battle there, and it won't help much if you go. Piccolo stopped Gohan in time. But Dad. Gohan was a little worried. Trust the old grandson. He can do it, Piccolo said lightly. Hearing this, Gohan had no choice but to watch the battle. That monster, if you don't provoke it, don't provoke it. All the warriors were full of fear. The strength of that female Saiyan is absolutely unparalleled. If you ask for trouble at this time, it is a very stupid behavior. Wow. Boom. Wukong didn't have the slightest resistance to Kair's attack, and was directly beaten by the opponent. His attack was like a tickling for the opponent. Damn, that guy Kale, how can he stop her? Caulifla said anxiously. Don't go up and make trouble at this time, just watch it. At this time, Luya appeared beside her and said lightly. Califra was surprised. Who are you? When? The appearance of the other party caught her off guard, and at the same time she was secretly vigilant. Her current state is not very good, so if the other party attacked, it would be very unfavorable to her. Luya glanced at Caulifla, but there was no opponent, but said, you should know why Kale became like this, right? Caulifla was taken aback. Luya said lightly, if I guess right, she has a very good relationship with you, or she is very dependent on you, but you only have powerful opponents in your eyes, so you ignore her, in her eyes, but you think that your opponent stole you, so you will have this transformation when you are sad. You should understand this in your heart. Quote. Caulifla looked at him in shock. How do you know? Guess. Luya said lightly, and then he said, to stop her, you still need your action, so that she may regain her senses and not be taken advantage of by others. However, with Kaylee's appearance, I can't get close to her at all. Caulifla said in a complicated way. I can help you. Luya smiled mysteriously. What? Caulifla was taken aback. Why? Are you not our opponent? Why are you helping me? Luya smiled and said, Goku is my teammate, but your teammate is beating him, so I'm just helping my teammate. Hearing this, Caulifla hesitated. Promise him. At this moment, Hit appeared. Hit. Caulifla was taken aback, a little puzzled. Hit said, let's get Kel back to normal first, otherwise it might be a little bad if it goes on like this. Hearing this, Caulifla hesitated for a while, then nodded. Well then, Kale will be saved by me. Very well, we can help you hold him back, you seize the opportunity. Luya looked at Hit. Are you interested in cooperating? Hit said lightly, yes. Luya smiled and didn't speak. Why is he so active in trying to help them? Of course, it's not his bodhisattva heart, but System Jun has released side quests. Luya is depressed. Doesn't the system say that if the previous task is not completed, the next task will not be triggered? However, the reason why this dagger gave him is that this quest is a side quest of the time and space quest. Co-authoring this is to make this Grand Power Conference a branch line for him to carry out the main task of time and space. However, Luya is still a little bit hurt about this. He doesn't want to face the legendary Saiyan. The terror of the other party is not something he can match now, but if there is Hit's help, then there is some hope. Of course, there is no reward for completing the side quests, I don't know at the moment. The system does not reveal the hair. P.S. Do you remember the conditions for the previous burst? I saved some manuscripts over the weekend, but I was afraid that I would be too busy to code, so I was hesitant to use it. Take a look at the situation at the end of the month, start accumulating from today, and by the end of the month, 10 more reminders and more chapters. Chapter 148 Battle Luya, Goku, Hit team up. When Kaire's brain was in trouble, everyone was watching the play from a distance. For them, Kaire's sudden transformation caught them off guard, and this kind of monster was not something they could stop, so they could only watch. Of course, the current goal of Kair is only Sun Wukong. This is undoubtedly very good news for people in other universes. If the powerful enemy of Sun Wukong can be eliminated by Kair, then they will also be very happy. The 6th universe and the 7th universe can only stare at this time, and they can't stop that monster. In the field, a figure flew out in a panic, and smashed a convex stone. Wukong stood up a little embarrassed, and he looked at Kair with solemn eyes. It's really a powerful guy, I didn't expect Saiyans to have such power. Hey, Kakarot, be careful, that's probably the most primitive appearance of Saiyans. Vegeta appeared at the heights and reminded. Hearing this, Wukong looked at Kair in surprise. This way. Sun Wukong, you die for me, roar. Kair roared, and then, he suddenly burst out with an extremely terrifying force. The green air spread out, and in the next second, Kair fiercely launched a shock wave directly towards Wukong. The latter's face condensed, and his figure disappeared in a flash. Swish. The next moment Wukong appeared in another position, but when he just appeared, Kair suddenly rushed over. Snapped. Kair slammed down with a heavy punch, and Wukong had no time to dodge and could only meet. Under the huge force, Wukong was also a little overwhelmed, and his body shot straight out. But at this moment, Goku suddenly roared, and in the next second, he himself transformed into Super Saiyan Blue. A powerful force raged, and the blue light erupted. You monster, it seems that I have to fight you with all my strength. Wukong looked at Kair solemnly. Come on. Kair. Roar. Kair let out a roar like a beast. Suddenly, she burst into a powerful force and charged directly towards Sun Wukong. Turtle. Pi. Chi. Gong. Ha. Wukong burst out suddenly, directly condensing his strength to play Turtle Qigong, and the powerful shockwave directly washed Kair's body. But what's amazing is that Kair didn't choose to avoid it, and she chose to ignore it under Wukong's ultimate move. How? Wukong was a little unbelievable. Impossible. Even blue. What kind of monster is that? Vera's face turned purple. He had never seen such a monster before. It's going to be a tough battle. If no one comes forward, I'm afraid this monster will be very troubled. Weiss said slowly. If Wukong temporarily avoids the edge, he can avoid Kai's pursuit. Kai Wangshen said helplessly. Wukong's character is like this. If you see anyone who is powerful, you want to go up and give it a shot. This is also something that can't be helped. The old king of the realm said lightly, and there was no surprise. But if Wukong goes on like this, I'm afraid it won't work. Kaylin said worriedly. Wukong immediately increased his firepower when he saw that the situation was not good, but a strong figure in the Qigong wave came directly, and soon came to Wukong. Just kidding. Wukong's face changed for a while, and before he could say anything more, Kai suddenly grabbed his face and lifted him up. Wukong screamed in pain under the strong force of the opponent. The situation is clear at a glance. Sun Wukong will be killed if he continues like this. Caligula watched this scene secretly, and suddenly became anxious. If Kaylee kills, the consequences are very serious. She must be stopped. What about those two guys? Sun Wukong. Now, I will sacrifice you to the sky. Kai grinned and looked at Wukong, revealing a strong killing intent. Damn, Wukong is now unable to break free from the opponent's shackles. Call out. Boom. Sudden, a laser burst came, and immediately exploded on Kai's back. The latter was in pain and turned to look at the attacker. I saw Luya standing not far away, condensing light waves with one hand and aiming at Kai. Hey! You monster, come here. Roar. Kai was in a bad mood when he was provoked, and then suddenly threw Sun Wukong away, and rushed towards Luya with a roar. Humph. Luya broke out violently, transformed into a Super Saiyan god, and continuously released air bombs at the opponent. But Kai was able to ignore Luya's attack, rushed directly in front of him, and smashed it down with a powerful punch. Luya's eyes froze, and then he directly avoided Kai's attack and fell directly to the other side. Wukong stood up. Hey Luya, why are you here? Luya smiled slightly. This monster is making a lot of trouble, you can't let her mess around. Wukong also smiled. Kai's power is much stronger than Super Saiyan Blue. Even if the two of us join forces, I'm afraid it will be difficult to deal with her. Luya shook his head. You are wrong, we are not two people. Wukong was stunned, and the next second, the space around Kai was directly imprisoned by a mysterious force. Time cage. Flash time. Wukong was shocked when he saw this, and then he realized that it was hit. Take advantage of it now. Luya whispered, and then burst into the air, and in an instant, an amazing red energy erupted. Super Saiyan Red. How could that be? That Saiyan turned red. Champa cried out in surprise when he saw this scene. I didn't expect that there is such a form, and the power of God contained in this form is even more intense than blue. Vados was also a little surprised. What happened to that human Saiyan? Why does he have the power of a god? This kind of divine power is definitely not as simple as cultivating it. After strengthening itself, it has become more aggressive. What kind of existence are the Saiyans in the seventh universe? The kings and gods of the universe are all a little complicated, and they feel the pressure for these Saiyans who change again and again. God knows how many forms they have. That attitude is not simple. On a high rock, Topa looked at Luya's form and said solemnly. Jillian looked at the scene on the field, did not speak, or even changed his face, as if these fights were like child's play in his eyes. As Luya burst out with all his strength, Wukong also smiled. Very good. Let's deal with this guy together. What? With a loud shout, Wukong also turned into blue, and the power of the two skyrocketed at this moment. At the same time, the two put their hands on their waists. Turtle, Pi, Chi. Ka ka ka. At this time, the time cage that controlled Kai had some cracks, and the expression of Hit, who used the flash time skill, changed. Not good. Even time can't restrain her. You. With a roar, the next second, Kair directly burst out with a powerful green energy, and in an instant, Hit's flash time power was directly broken. Kale's body also regained the ability to move. It's now. Hit snorted coldly. Come on. Wukong shouted, and in the next second, he and Luya roared at the same time and played a powerful turtle-style qigong. Two incomparably powerful forces suddenly blasted towards Kale. With such a terrifying power, Kar couldn't ignore it like he did just now, but with almost no sense, she directly blocked the two's big moves with both hands. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, under the support of Kair, it turned out to be barely able to resist the attacks of Luya and Wukong. Strengthen it, Luya shouted angrily. The next moment, the power of Luya and Wukong suddenly soared, and then, a layer of red coat was directly added to the blue and red rays of light. King Fist. Ah! Suddenly, the two exerted their strength at the same time, and the power of the shock wave directly reached its peak moment. Kair's body gradually retreated back, and his face was also struggling. Even if Kar suddenly burst out with a powerful force, it didn't help. She was already on the brink. There was already a touch of pain and panic on that violent face. Take advantage of now, Hit, Luya suddenly snorted. P.S. I did something stupid today. I actually ran up to the top of the building and fired turtle qigong at the sun, and then there was a thunderstorm. Chapter 149_Califla's Influence. Kel Recovery. Under the cooperation of Luya and Wukong, the power generated directly suppressed Kair. At the same time, Hit suddenly appeared above Kel. The latter was startled and looked up directly at Hit. Hit looked at Kair and said lightly, "The trouble caused is not small, let's stop it." After speaking, he stretched out his hand towards Kair, and gathered his strength extremely quickly. Boom! The next moment, a purple envelope enveloped Hit, and suddenly, the power condensed in his hands became stronger and stronger. That was a blow that brought together his true strength. Normal attacks can't effectively strike Kale at all, so you can only use your full strength to shoot. Hit's eyes suddenly condensed, and the next second, he reflected energy bullets directly at Kale. It's not what Hit thinks of hurting his own comrades, but if it doesn't, I'm afraid they will be passive in the 6th universe. There was no extra power to stop Hit's attack, so Kale could only abruptly meet Hit's full blow. Boom! In an instant, a powerful force swept out directly, and a huge explosion spread. Instantly smoky. Califla saw this scene and rushed over directly. Luya and Wukong both restrained their breath, and then looked at the situation on the field. It's really amazing, it took the three of us to join forces to defeat her. Wukong said with some sigh. Luya said indifferently, that is the legendary Super Saiyan. It is in existence with the ancient blood of Saiyans. This kind of existence can be called a monster, and its power is inestimable. The legendary Super Saiyan, Wukong whispered, but soon he didn't think about other things. It was the first time he had seen this kind of thing, so it seems that there is no need to go into it now, especially for a single person like him. For cellular organisms. Soon, the smoke dissipated, and the center of the explosion was a mess. There really are them. Everyone sighed, and even joined forces to solve the monster. I have to say that the strength of those few people is really powerful. The 7th universe will be our rival. Toppo also noticed some details. He also fought against Sun Wukong before, but at that time, he thought that Sun Wukong could fight alone in the 7th universe, but now it seems that this is not the case. In addition to Sun Wukong, there are also many masters in the 7th universe. Such as that Vegeta, such as Naluya. Saiyans are a group of not simple guys. Jiren didn't feel anything. For him, the goal this time was Super Dragon Ball. Whoever stops him will sweep it together. No matter how big an ant is, it is still an ant. At this time, the gravel suddenly agitated, and then, Kair's body directly propped up the pile of stones. She was not in a good state at this time. She was panting heavily, although Hit's move was very beautiful, but there was no injury left on her body. Of course, For her, the consumption is still very huge. Now her physical strength is close to the limit. Roar! Kai roared lowly, preparing to gather chi to attack. This guy, it's all right, do you want to be so arrogant? Luya said with a bit of pain. But our attack did have an effect on her. Wukong said with relief. Roar! Finally, Kale roared, and then, a powerful force erupted. Recovered so quickly, Wukong was a little shocked. Luya's face also became solemn. This is the perversion of Chuan Chaolumao. It is very unfortunate to be against such a person. And Kair rushed directly towards Luya and the two, aggressive and unstoppable. The two were ready to fight. Break. At this time, Hit made a move, and I saw that he directly locked Kair's actions with the flash time skill. Make it immobile. But soon, everyone's complexion changed, because Hit's flash power didn't last long before cracks appeared. Ka ka ka. With the space dyed green at this moment, Kair's roar sounded in the field, and then, a terrifying aura directly shattered the time cage of Flash. Kair regained his freedom and punched Luya directly. And just when a few people were preparing to fight hard, suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared in the field, and the next second she blocked Kair's fist with her bare hands. Caulifla. Hit was startled. Catching Kale's punch, Caulifla was not feeling well either. Her figure slipped back subconsciously, and her arms were shaken almost unconscious at this moment. Hey, not bad, Kale, Caulifla suddenly laughed. This guy. Goku looked at Caulifla blankly. Luya glanced at them, and then called Wukong back. Roar. Kair looked at the tiny ants blocking her in front of him, stunned for a moment, and then suddenly his face became fierce again. Hit is also ready to go, ready to help at any time. Hey Kale, you did a great job. This kind of power is what I have always pursued. You have far surpassed me. As a senior sister, I am very happy. Caulifla continued to laugh. Kair's body was a little stiff, as if there was some will to make her mind struggle. No matter what others say, you are my junior sister. No one can replace you. No one can take me away. My most important person is you, Kale. Caulifla said seriously. Sister. Kale gradually regained his sanity. Caulifla's words undoubtedly brought her back to reality for her. Yes. The elder sister is hers, only if you are strong enough, can you not hold back the elder sister. To fight side by side with my sister. Instead of turning into this monster that even my sister has to kill. Kair suddenly hugged his head and cried, and his body kept shaking. Kel, change back. Believe in yourself. Caulifla showed a smile. Don't let me down. Sister. Kair suddenly roared up to the sky, and then, the green light on her body suddenly dissipated, and suddenly changed back to the normal appearance, but Kair, who had just returned to the original, suddenly softened. Caulifla hurriedly caught the other party and said with a gratified smile, That's great, Kale, you did it. Sister, I'm sorry. Kair was a little complicated and guilty, and he almost killed his sister. Hee. Califred didn't mind. It's a strange feeling. Luya whispered a little weirdly. He guessed that Kale should be pulling it, but these two have some basic feelings. Thinking of this, Luya looked at Caulifla. She looks pretty good, but it's a little flat. At this time, Hit came over and said to Caulifla, she needs to rest, you hurry up and take her to hide. I see. Caulifla nodded. Hit looked at Luya and said, are we going to fight between us now? Luya smiled. This time we are all overexhausted, so let's do it next time. At that time, we will be opponents. Hit suddenly smiled. That's it. That's fine. After speaking, he looked at Wukong and said, be careful, son Wukong. Wukong showed a hint of fighting spirit and said with a smile, Hit, I hope I can learn from you again. Hit smiled, then flashed and disappeared in place. Caulifla carried Kair on her back and looked at Luya. Thank you, although we are enemies. Luya nodded. It's okay, when you recover, you are welcome to fight at any time. Open black lens bracket drop. Congratulations to the host for completing the side quest. Help Kair return to his original state and save the endgame. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket drop. The host will be rewarded with 2 billion combat power points. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket drop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the super transcendent bloodline. The current bloodline purity is 30%. After reaching 100%, it can transform into the super transcendent form and obtain the super transmission skill. Close black lens bracket. Luya was shocked, but he didn't change on the surface. That's right, you should still have a lot of room for improvement, and then you can play to your heart's content. Wukong also smiled slightly. Humph. Just wait and see. I will definitely turn blue and surpass you. No, there is still red. Caligula looked at Luya, her eyes showing a touch of heat. These two guys are extremely powerful Saiyans. She doesn't have the sky-defying transformation like Kaylee, so it is very difficult to surpass them, but Caligula believes that as long as she wants to, she can surpass everyone. Let's go, don't say we take advantage of others. Luya said lightly. Caligula smiled and was about to leave. Swish. Suddenly, at this moment, several red light ropes suddenly flew over, directly entangling the two sisters. What? Caligula was surprised. Luya and Wukong also stared at each other. Humph. Since you are ignoring justice, let my proud team come forward. At this moment, a figure appeared in everyone's sight. P.S. I received 15 reminders today, and 10 reminders for one more chapter. Remember first, it will explode at the end of the month. Chapter 150 _ Luya takes action to solve the crisis, and Vegeta reappears. The sudden change made Caligula's face change, but at this moment, she was unable to move with Kale on her back, and both were restrained. And the one who made the sneak attack was a proud team member hiding in the dark. That is, a player from Universe 11. Humph. You monster. For justice, I will never let you continue to exist here. In order to prevent you from releasing that ferocity again, I am proud of the Team Boon, and will beat you. The player said proudly, not forgetting make a pose. Damn, Caligula's pretty face was cold, and then she looked at Luya and Wukong with difficulty. Hey. Help me get him away, and you will owe it to me. I don't know whether to say it to Luya or to Goku. Wukong looked at Boon with some dissatisfaction. You sneak attack when others are exhausted, you don't have the spirit of martial arts. No martial arts. Humph. I advise you to mind your own business. Guys from the 7th universe, I will defeat all of you in the 11th universe in a while. Boon said indifferently. There's a lot of nonsense. Luya said lightly, and then he suddenly hit an energy slash, and instantly cut off those red ropes. What? How is that possible? How could you cut off my shackles so easily? Boon said in disbelief. His move was designed to restrain evil. Why are these guys who are his enemies so easy to crack his tricks? Banman get an axe. Luya smiled, then moved instantly and appeared in front of Boon. You bastard. Boon was shocked, but Luya's actions did not allow him to be surprised. Suddenly, Luya slammed his knee on Boon's stomach, and the latter screamed in pain like a bowed shrimp. Luya glanced at each other and said, Proud team, except for that guy, you are just shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Arrogant. For Luya, the pretense must be in place, at least the momentum cannot be lost. With that said, Luya suddenly condensed into an energy bomb, and immediately took it away. Universe 11, Boon is out. The Great Priest said. Boon. King Quan eagerly rummaged through the list, and then clicked on Boon's head in Universe 11. One less person. Zuo Quanwang said excitedly. It's so exciting. Super Saiyan, the proud team, it's getting more and more exciting. King Yuquan danced with excitement. Ellipsis. Thank you. Caligula looked at Luya and said. Luya shrugged. I'm just knocking out my opponents normally. Whether it's the 11th universe or your 6th universe, they're my opponents, so next time I see you, I won't be merciful. Ah, let the horse come over. Caligula said proudly, and then jumped away with Kale on her back. What an interesting saiyan. The Saiyans in the 6th universe are a little malnourished compared to our Saiyans in the 7th universe. Goku walked forward thoughtfully and said. Luya smiled a little. This is true, but their strength is really good. That's right. Next time we meet, I hope they will become stronger. Wukong laughed. Humph. You evil fellows, you are still laughing. At this moment, a gloomy voice interrupted the conversation between the two. ... On the other hand, after Kai's crisis was lifted, all the players also started the knockout rounds. Vegeta is fighting fiercely with Bodama and Vegeta in Universe 6. These two guys are very annoying. If he hadn't been able to transform into a Super Saiyan, I'm afraid he really wouldn't be able to deal with each other. Ha ha ha. What? You can only hide like a mouse. Vegeta. Bodama sat on Magetta's head and looked at Vegeta proudly, while constantly reflecting energy bullets with Magetta. Hey, two mortal guys. Vegeta's face turned gloomy and a little angry. Good job Bodama Magetta. Just throw Vegeta to me. Champa also came to his senses from Kale's side at this time, noticing the situation on Vegeta's side, and suddenly time to cheer. Cut. It's these two idiots again. It's really annoying, Beerus said with some displeasure. Hee hee. Beerus, you will lose your share if you say this. Bodama and Magetta, after the last failure, they cooperated again. It is definitely not something you can easily defeat in the 7th universe. Shangpa complacently let out a gigi laugh. Really? Humph. Just watch it carefully. In the face of absolute power, any skill is a cloud. Beerus said lightly, unaffected by Shangpa's provocative words. With that said, Beerus looked at Vegeta and said calmly, Hey Vegeta. There's no need to fight for the two guys who can't stand on the stage, solve them as soon as possible. Hearing this, Vegeta's face also calmed down, and then she looked at Bodama, and suddenly showed a strange smile. You guys, why are you coming to trouble Lao Su? The defeated generals. What? Bodama's face sank. In the next second, he and Vegeta suddenly exerted force and launched energy bombs directly at Vegeta. Drink! Vegeta suddenly shouted, and then, a terrifying force swept away directly, and even their energy bombs were blown away at this moment. Suddenly, Vegeta turned into Super Blue and jumped instantly. I'm going. Vegeta, stop him. Bodama was obviously frightened by Vegeta's menacing approach, and then quickly reminded Vegeta. The latter's eyes slammed, and a few white breaths suddenly spewed out, and the iron arm smashed directly at Vegeta. Bang! With a swing of his arm, a powerful force directly got rid of Vegeta's block, and at the same time Vegeta had rushed in front of Bodama. Looking for death, cold sweat slid down Bodama's face, and he hurriedly spit out a wave of energy from his mouth. But what he didn't expect was that Vegeta turned over and avoided his energy bombs. At the same time, Vegeta had already jumped in front of Bodama. You rubbish, let me down. Bang! As soon as the words fell, Vegeta slammed a punch on Bodama's face. Suddenly, the latter's face was almost deformed, and a huge force directly took it off of Vegeta. Hit the ground hard. And without Bodama's cover, Magetta's ears also had a gap. Vegeta took this opportunity and scolded directly. You raggedy, what are you arrogant? Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Magetta's face was suddenly horrified, as if someone was bullied, showing an aggrieved expression, even forgot to defend, and was directly kicked by Vegeta to Bodama's side. You two guys, how dare you underestimate the power of Vegeta? Vegeta's face became more angry. It's not good. Bodama, you all run away. Champa panicked when he saw this scene, and hurriedly shouted. But Vegeta has lost his fighting spirit at this time, and he doesn't want to move at all. At this time, Vegeta has already condensed the ultimate move. Give me down, you two bastards. Sky Cannon. Under the anger, Vegeta directly launched the sky-rocketing cannon. Suddenly, a powerful shockwave directly took Bodama and Vegeta away. The latter wanted to resist, but found that they could not compete with Bebe with their strength. Gita. With two screams, the two players fell directly into the ring and were eliminated. Universe 6, players Bodama and Magetta, fall off the ring and be eliminated. The Grand Priest still kept a smile and announced. Hey, how can you lose? It's so disappointing. Shampa said angrily directly towards the two of Bodama. Calm down like Master Pa, they also tried their best. Vados couldn't help persuading. Bodama poked his fingers ashamed, and Magetta shut himself up again, not wanting to speak. Shampa sighed. To eliminate two people at once, it's really annoying. Humph. How is it? Weren't you quite arrogant just now? Beerus' voice came with pride. Bang. Beerus. Wait for me. Shampa stared at Beerus in dismay, as if he wanted to scratch the other's face. At this time, Vegeta returned to normal, holding her chest proudly. Master. Next, I'll fight you. At this moment, a voice came from behind. Vegeta was stunned for a moment, then closed her eyes and smiled. All right, I'll teach you a new class this time. Chapter 151_Proud Team Shot, Luya Wukong 2 Pick 5. On the other hand, Luya and Goku will be separated after the elimination of Boon in Universe 11. Wait. Suddenly, a voice sounded, and at the same time, several powerful breaths directly locked Luya and the two. Luya and Wukong both looked at it, and were stunned for a moment. They saw 5 soldiers in red standing on a high ground in front of them. It's the 11th universe again. Son Wukong, you dare to eliminate our companions and help the evil Saiyans, then you are our enemies. The big man in the lead said solemnly. One Eye was a machine, and he didn't know what it was for. Who are you? Wukong asked suspiciously. Humph. My name is Castellar, I'm a member of the Proud Team. You, the big man with machine eyes, said loudly, not forgetting to make a weird pose. I'm Taba, the bearded man who should be green-skinned in a standard fitness pose. Keatle, this is a warrior with a monster head. It is worth mentioning that his physique is very powerful. Zuo Yile, this was an extremely short warrior with 2 horns on his head. I'm Kokoti, a female warrior with long pink hair said gracefully. We are a proud team. The poses of the 5 people were almost perfect, and the way they played was unique. This is Team Ginyu. Wukong and Luya are stupid, looking at each other with strange eyes. These guys are really. How do you say it? Like 2 fools. They couldn't help but think of the Ginyu team, Frieza's subordinates on the Namek planet. Humph. Ignorant rude. I don't know anything about the beauty of justice. No wonder you helped that evil monster. Casserole snorted coldly. You are enemies of justice, which is our enemy. We will protect justice and resolutely eradicate you. Kokoti pointed to Luya and the two elegantly, but his tone was a little arrogant. Luya smiled lightly. The last sentence is what you want to say. Don't you think it's ridiculous to talk about bullshit justice here? What? What did you say? Who are you? How dare you molest justice? Casserole was furious. Who? Are you blind? That's right, it's only you guys who talk about justice for personal interests. How can your eyes be good? Luya laughed mockingly, and then his eyes narrowed. Listen, I'll teach you. Who are we? Boom. The next moment, Luya exploded, in an instant. The golden power burst out. Wukong was also excited. 2 against 5. Yaxi. I'll come too. Ha. Boom. Suddenly, Goku also transformed into a Super Saiyan. Humph. You brazen fellow. You can't win against the 5 of us. Casserole sneered, and then he suddenly gathered his anger, and then he suddenly threw his hands, only to see that the 2 hands condensed into 2 chi blade. It's similar to Zamasu's trick. Go on. Suddenly, the 5 rushed directly towards Luya and Wukong. How many do you want? Luya smiled and looked at Wukong. Of course, the more the better. Wukong smiled and immediately rushed up. Luya also smiled, and then he looked at Taba and Zuo Yile who were rushing towards him. In the next moment, he was already in front of each other, and the latter hardly noticed it. Flash time. Luya won't leave enough energy to learn from others like Wukong at the beginning. If you can end the battle quickly, don't force it. Bang, bang. With one punch and one kick, the two of them were sent flying, and they fell directly to the ground. Zuo Yile. Taba. Casserole's face changed. He didn't expect his teammates to be knocked down so quickly. Hey, your opponent is me. Wukong suddenly appeared in front of Casselar and punched directly. The latter was startled, and the two air blades crossed directly to block Wukong's fist. At the same time, Casselar said to Kokodi, "Go and assist Taba and the others. Sun Wukong and give it to me and Kindle." Kokodi didn't hesitate, nodded and rushed towards Luya. Drink. Kindle charged directly at Wukong, who had to give up attacking Casselar and dodge to one side. And taking advantage of this opportunity, Casselar also directly forced him to join forces with Kindle to fight Sun Wukong. On one side, Kokodi rushed in front of Luya, and then suddenly launched a pink ball of light towards Luya, Kokodi's sphere. Luya's eyes narrowed slightly. He knew that this trick could create another space. Once the opponent was trapped, it would prevent the opponent from going out, but the people outside could defeat the people inside. However, if the other party thinks that they know nothing, they are wrong. When the light ball was about to hit him, Luya jumped, directly dodging the Kokodi sphere, and charged towards the opponent. What? Kokodi was shocked, and then several energy bombs burst out, hitting Luya. The latter sneered, then easily dodged, and instantly appeared behind the latter, and slammed it down with a fist. Kokodi screamed directly, fell, and a huge pit appeared on the ground. Kokot. Taba shouted worriedly when he saw this, and at the same time he looked at Luya. Damn. How dare you be so rude to the lady? Luya laughed angrily. What? Is it possible that I have to tell her if I can't fight again? What's the matter? Huh. At this moment, a tornado hit Luya directly. The strength is destructive. Luya frowned and fired a few gas bombs, but they were all swept away by the tornado. At the same time, Zuo Yilei's proud face appeared in the tornado. Hey. Taste my righteous spin. Luya's figure flashed, directly dodging the opponent's attack. But Zuo Yilei kept chasing him away like he locked Luya. At the same time, Kokodi and Tab are also chasing after the victory, constantly releasing their attacks. From a distance, Topo and Jillian also saw the battle on the field. As the captain, the former was naturally a little worried. The two Saiyans are not weak. Even if Casserole has an advantage in numbers, I'm afraid it will be difficult to win. Would you like to help? Jiren glanced at the situation in the field, and finally said, "The weak should not curl up under the wings of the strong, save your stamina." After he finished speaking, his figure flashed and disappeared. Topo heard the words and sighed. He knew Jiren's arrogance. Even if Jiren joined the Pride team, there was a gap between them. Sighing, Topo could only follow in Jiren's footsteps. Why didn't Jillian come to help? If all the staff were dispatched, Sun Wukong and that Saiyan should be eliminated by hand. The Kaiwangshan of Universe 11 said with some dissatisfaction. Logically speaking, this is a very good opportunity. If they can eliminate the powerful enemy of Sun Wukong in advance, then their 11th universe will firmly grasp the first in their hands in advance. The clown god of destruction said indifferently, "You don't know Jiren, he is extremely arrogant, and he will never admit to a weak person. Not only that, it is an insult to him to ask him to help. It is also a whole pride. Shame on the team. Jiren has his own dignity." But at this moment when the universe is decided, is it really useful to talk about dignity? Kaiwangshan sighed. Trust Jiren. His power is not as simple as you think. The clown destruction god said lightly. Realm King God. On the other side, Caulifla, who had just left, also encountered a strong enemy, and two robots blocked their way. Hee, I finally caught two fish that slipped through the net. Your state is not their opponent at all. The king of the third universe said with a weird smile. And the angel behind it said. Lord Moscow said, in one go, throw the Saiyan down. Humph. You really know how to find space. It's all pervasive, it's for the villain. Care, you rest first, and I'll deal with them. Caulifla sneered. Sister, I want to fight side by side with you, Care said firmly, not wanting to drag her sister back. Caulifla glanced at the firm eyes, and then smiled. Okay. Let's fight together. By the way, let them see how powerful Saiyans are. Chapter 152_Fight. Contestants who are eliminated one after another. Almost a third of the time has passed since the Power Conference. All universes have been eliminated, and some universes have less than half of the people left. But what can be known is that the universe with the most people left is the 7th universe. They only eliminated one person, and the others are still fighting. Of course, except for Kaylin, the other 9 people are not easy goods. At this time, Wukong and Luya were fighting against the powerful enemies of the 11th universe, and they also successfully dragged Luya and the two by virtue of their numerical superiority. Castellar and Keitel joined forces. The abilities of the two are different. Kettle is good at long-range attacks. He can release countless energy bombs to make them levitate. If they touch, they will explode on their own. Not only that, he can also manipulate these energy bombs to attack the enemy, making it hard to guard against. Ordinary people can't avoid those attacks that are like a net. Wukong also hurriedly dodged, and at the same time Casserole showed his melee strength, and when Keitel interfered with Wukong, thunder shot. Wukong was also somewhat restrained, resulting in his own power not being fully released. Facing Casserole's attack, he could only resist for a while, but was unable to make an effective attack. And the other side. Luya is dodging Kokode's special sphere while dodging the invincible hot wheel formed by Zuo Yile and Taba. It's interesting, I didn't expect to cooperate so well. Compared with Team Ginyu, your dance is not good, but your strength is much stronger. Luya said lightly, as if complimenting, as if mocking. But this was heard by the proud team. The other party's words were undoubtedly an insult to them. Questioning their strength. Damn guy, if you have won, you will be hidden. Seeing that his attack did not hit the opponent, Kokode was a little angry. Suddenly, Luya's figure really stopped, and then he shot an energy bomb towards the Kokode sphere that he shot at him. In an instant, the two energies collided, and the next moment, the Kokode sphere suddenly shattered. How is that possible? How could your normal attack be able to break my Kokode sphere? Kokode was stunned and did not understand this behavior at all. Luya sneered. What kind of thing? In front of absolute strength, are you a hang? Although he has been avoiding, but if the other party thinks that he is afraid, then it is a big mistake. Damn it, you bastard. Kokode was furious, and at the same time she suddenly shot dozens of Kokode spheres, and then shouted, Zuo Yile. Understood. The whirlwind Zuo Yile suddenly understood, and then he suddenly brought the Kokot sphere into the whirlwind and rushed directly towards Luya. Luya's face turned cold, and then he burst into a rage, instantly turning on the Super Saiyan full power state. Turtle, Pi, Chi, Gong. The next moment, Luya played Turtle Qigong directly towards the whirlwind. Boom boom boom. For a time, the whirlwind directly collided with the Turtle School Qigong, and then part of the energy was directly blown away by the huge wind. But is Luya's Turtle School Qigong so simple? Under the powerful force, Zuo Yile was forced to stop. How is that possible? It actually blocked Zuo Yile. How strong is this Saiyan? She didn't expect this opponent to be so powerful. She had seen the power of Zuo Yile's whirlwind. How could it be blocked so easily? This unscientific. After resisting for a while, Zuo Yile could no longer stop Luya's offensive, and the Kokot sphere he carried flew out directly, while he himself was unable to maintain the whirlwind form, and was directly led by Luya's Turtle Qigong. Go! Zuo Yile. Taba's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. Damn it! Zuo Yile fell directly into the ring without any resistance under the powerful attack. The 11th Universe Zuo Yile player is eliminated. The Grand Priest announced in a timely manner. How could it be? It fell so easily. The king god of Universe 11 said, a little displeased. I'm sorry, Zuo Yile said guiltily. After solving Zuo Yile, Luya looked at the other two and immediately said, come on, next, it's your turn. Damn, Kokodi stared at Luya with an ugly face, as if to kill him with his eyes. Taba appeared beside her and looked at Luya solemnly. Be careful, this opponent is not easy. Humph, we want to avenge Zuo Yile. Kokodi snorted coldly and said. Of course. Taba nodded firmly. Luya came slowly with golden light all over his body, and his unhurried appearance made Kokodi and Taba more stressed. What's the matter? Is this not going to work? Luya looked at them disdainfully. Damn it, let me meet you. After speaking, Taba jumped directly, and then rushed towards Luya. The latter's face turned cold, and then rushed up at the same time. Da da da. A series of collision sounds sounded. Luya was not afraid of Taba's offensive at all, and he also prevailed. Ha! Bump! Bang! With one punch and one kick, Luya directly kicked Taba away. At the same time, he shot a gas bomb directly at Kokodi, who was startled and hurriedly dodged. Bastard! I won't lose to you! Taba roared, and then, he directly launched a shock wave, and the powerful force shot out directly, slamming Luya. Luya snorted coldly, condensed the energy bomb with one hand, and directly broke the opponent's shock wave with one move. How? Taba was a little shocked. Did you have any misunderstanding of my power? Luya smiled slightly, and then he disappeared in an instant, and he appeared in front of Taba in an instant, knocking him away with a punch. The latter screamed and flew out. Taba, be careful, Kokodi said worriedly. She didn't expect that this guy was chased by them just now, but now the counterattack is so powerful. Luya grinned. These guys just put some water in. Did they think they had pinch him? Naive. Thinking of this, Luya didn't mess around anymore. He appeared in front of Taba when he flashed, and an energy bomb pushed the opponent out. Boom. The energy bomb exploded on the edge of the ring, taking Taba away by the way. How could it be? Another one eliminated. This is impossible for the Kaiwang god of the 11th universe. Is the player he carefully selected so weak? Swish. Suddenly, an energy ball hit Luya directly, which caught people off guard. Luya waved his hand and punched subconsciously, but the next moment, his entire body was directly integrated into the energy ball. I am careless. Luya frowned a little. Ha ha ha, I finally caught it. You guy, you actually eliminated my two companions. I represent justice and will never let you go. Kokot's face finally showed a proud look. Luya looked at Kokot without panic. Really? Do you think you can really trap me? Kokoti sneered. Of course. This Kokoti sphere contains another time and space. If you are trapped, you will no longer be in this time and space. You will never escape. Luya shook his head with some pity. You brain, didn't I just say that in the face of absolute power, all tricks are clouds? Impossible. My ability is enough to trap a guy like you. It is absolutely impossible for you to escape. Kokoti obviously didn't believe it. Really? That will disappoint you. Luya smiled strangely, and then he suddenly started to explode. Ha ah ah ah. With a roar, Luya's power rose in a straight line, and then, the golden yellow power around him continued to erupt. Suddenly, a powerful force directly filled the entire sphere. What? Kokoti's face changed. She was a little shocked. Didn't this guy use all his strength just now? Boom boom boom. For a time, the powerful energy seemed to burst the entire Kokoti sphere, and Luya was still bursting, and the power was directly rising. Ka ka ka. Suddenly, cracks appeared in the Kokoti sphere, and then more and more cracks appeared. Hey, Kokot, what are you still doing? Throw him down now. The clown god of destruction suddenly roared. And Kokoti also recovered from the shock. She was about to attack Luya, but it was already a step too late. Chapter 153 of the 17th and 18th. Click. An abnormal sound suddenly appeared, and then, a terrifying force suddenly erupted from the sphere filled with golden light. Suddenly, the entire sphere exploded. Shish! Luya, who was covered in golden light, appeared in the field. He stared at Kokot, and then sneered. Now, what do you think? How could? Kokogi looked in disbelief. Immediately, Luya was ready to start. The time is almost up, it won't do me any good to spend it with you guys who are not in the stream. Not good. Kokogi was shocked. She knew that with her current strength, she would definitely not be the opponent's opponent, so she suddenly made a rude operation. I saw that Kokogi directly cast Kokogi's sphere on herself, and she was immediately wrapped by a sphere. Huh, Kokogi finally breathed a sigh of relief. This way you won't be able to attack me. Ah ha ha. Mouth twitched. What IQ? Saying that, he stretched out his hand and pressed Kokot, and then he shot out an energy wave. Boom. Immediately, the energy wave directly brought Kokogi, together with the sphere, and shot down the ring. I am careless. Kokogi appeared in the auditorium, a little stunned. UIQ, why were you brought in to participate in the power conference? The clown destruction god was a little speechless. Nima, they lost 4 directly from the universe. How does this play? Fortunately, it's not an IQ conference. The World King God said indifferently. Kokot. Ellipsis. After eliminating 3 opponents, Luya returned to normal. Although the large-scale output was a bit wasteful, for him, it has not yet reached the limit. Turning to look, Wukong is still fighting hard. The rain-like attack of Keitel makes Wukong a little bit hindered from dodging. At the same time, he has to face Casserole's attack, so he is somewhat passive. After thinking about it, Luya still didn't help, so he was about to turn around and leave. Suddenly, Luya noticed something, and then turned to look at a high place, where a shadow was looking at him. Luya. ... On the other hand, Wukong, who was fighting hard, also noticed that Luya won, and suddenly sighed, I can't fall behind. What? With a loud shout, Wukong exploded his anger, actually forcing Casserole back. After being repelled, Casselar glanced in the direction of Luya's side. It's amazing, to eliminate the 3 companions of my proud team with 1 person. Keitel fell in front of Casselar. What should we do? Tado and the others are eliminated. Casserole said solemnly. If that's the case, then we can't hold back anymore. We must exert our true power. As he said that, the 2 air blades in his hand expanded a little directly, and the strength increased a lot. Understood. Keitel nodded solemnly, and then he also burst out with a powerful force, and suddenly, countless energy bombs condensed around him. Hee, the 2 of you are quite interesting, and you work well together, but well, I won't lose to you. Wukong smiled, his eyes very confident. Humph. Letting evil go unpunished is a contempt for our justice. Son Wukong, we will rectify you on the spot. Casserole pointed at Wukong and shouted. Really? Let's try it. I won't be merciful now. Wukong smiled and said provocatively. Keitel, Casserole said suddenly. Understood. The latter directly manipulated the energy bullets around him, and immediately, countless energy bullets attacked Wukong directly. The power is much higher than before. Wukong exploded, his golden power flickered, and then he turned upside down and rushed out to face those attacks. In the air, Wukong kept dodging those attacks, moving smoothly and quickly approaching them. Look at me, Casserole shouted angrily and charged directly towards Wukong. And Keitel is manipulating the energy bombs to assist. Those energy bombs can easily avoid Casserole, creating a space for him to use his hands and feet. Wukong was not afraid, and directly collided with Casserole. For a time, the 2 fought fiercely together. Although Casserole's chi blade was very strong, Wukong could always dodge easily. Although the 2 said that they cooperated well, Goku showed a very perfect offensive. Under Goku's increasingly intense attack, Casselar could only barely resist, and at the same time, he could barely attack with Keitel's support. But Wukong suddenly exerted force, and the fist wrapped in golden light instantly slammed it out. Casserole was startled and quickly resisted. But the next moment, under a huge force, his chi blade was directly smashed by Wukong. Even people flew upside down and crashed into the small hill. At the same time, Goku looked up at Keitel, and then charged directly at him. What? Keitel was shocked, and immediately released countless air bombs, madly rushing towards Wukong. Turtle, Pi, Chi, Gong. While dodging, Wukong condensed his strength, and shot a powerful wave of light directly. In an instant, he hit Keitel head-on. The air bomb released by the latter was directly defeated by the Turtle School Qigong. Under the explosion, Keitel screamed and flew out of the ring. Swish. In the next second, there was one more person in the 11th universe audience. The 6th elimination. Everyone in the 11th universe looked very ugly, and they felt that they had been pinched by the 7th universe. Keitel, Casserole's face changed greatly, he couldn't believe it. In the end, he was the only one left. Hey, now it's your turn. Wukong looked at each other with a smile. Damn, you bastard. How dare you eliminate all my comrades? Casserole was furious. Immediately, the air blade in his hand turned into an energy ball with enormous power, and threw it directly at Wukong. Wukong's eyes narrowed, and he was about to crack the opponent's move, but at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared, blocked in front of Wukong, and immediately kicked the energy ball away. What? Casserole's face turned green, he couldn't believe his energy was kicked. So he looked at the guy who started angrily. Number 17. Why are you here? Wukong looked at the person in front of him in surprise. The person here is the 17th. No, 17 smiled slightly. Seeing how hard you are playing, I can't stand it anymore, so I plan to shoot. What? I just want to fight a little longer. Wukong was dissatisfied with the other party's words. It doesn't matter what happens, so do you mind if I do anything to him? Number 17 laughed. That won't work, he's mine, you'd better find another opponent. Wukong crossed number 17 and walked towards Casserole. You guys, actually, look down on me so much. Casserole's face was extremely ugly, he felt insulted. Isn't it wrong to underestimate you? Poor. Suddenly, a voice suddenly sounded, and then, number 18 suddenly appeared behind Casserole, and an energy bomb blasted the opponent directly. Casserole was unprepared and was blown away. Number 18, why are you here too? Wukong was a little depressed, why is everyone running towards him? No, 18 clapped his hands, and then said, if you don't like him, just do it. Do you have any problems? These guys shouting justice in their mouths, but they are doing the things of these villains, which makes her very unhappy. You, why can you quietly appear behind me? Casserole looked at number 18 in disbelief. That's not what you can know. Number 18 snorted coldly. Damn, these guys are gathered together. I can't stay, otherwise I won't be their opponent. Casserole judged in his heart. Be careful, he might want to run away. Number 17 suddenly reminded. How could he succeed? Number 18 sneered, then gathered strength in his hands and aimed at Casserole. Damn, fight! Casserole suddenly burst out, and a powerful force burst out of his body. Immediately, he condensed energy, roared, and fired directly at Wukong and the others. Here, Wukong also gathered his strength, and suddenly burst out with a powerful momentum. Not to be outdone, number 17 and number 18 shot energy waves directly at Casserole. Boom! Under the terrifying opposing waves, a powerful explosion swept out, and the field was filled with smoke. P.S. A total of 29 reminders have been received from readers and friends. Everyone consumes rationally, don't force me to explode, I'm not as good as you. Chapter 154 _ The Witch Warrior of the Second Universe appears. Swish. Suddenly, after the explosion in the ring, there was one more person in the auditorium of Universe 11, and it was Casserole. With the combined efforts of Goku and number 17 siblings, Casserole is no match at all. Too despicable, 3 bullies 1. The 11th Universe Realm King God said in dissatisfaction. Humph. Forget it, Why didn't you say when the 5 of you dealt with the 2 of us before? Don't rely on your lip service if you're not strong enough. Beerus suddenly sneered. What? The 11th Universe King God looked at Beerus with a bit of embarrassment. I advise you to be honest, a mere realm god, dare to talk to me like this, even Belmod can't protect you. Beerus' eyes were already cold. The 11th Universe Realm King God. Hey Beerus, you are a little arrogant. The clown destruction god looked at Beerus with some displeasure. The latter said indifferently, this is a power conference, if this mentally retarded person is talking about fairness here, then your 11th universe is the most hypocritical party. Use the slogan of justice to eliminate other opponents, even me. Embarrassed for you all. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. The clown god of destruction stared at Beerus through gritted teeth, and almost rushed up to give him a shot. Okay, everyone, don't be arguing, just watch the game. The great priest suddenly said. The 2 gods of destruction looked at each other, then snorted, ignoring each other. Ellipsis. In the field, Wukong and number 17 and number 18 gathered together. By the way, are you all right now? After fighting for so long, you should have spent a lot of money, right? Number 17 looked at Wukong and asked curiously. Wukong smiled. It's nothing, I usually don't use all my strength when fighting, and then save my stamina while fighting, so that it doesn't consume too much. Is that so? Number 17 knew, and had to say that Sun Wukong still had a hand in fighting. But I envy you and number 18. As androids, you have an inexhaustible amount of energy, so you can keep fighting. It's amazing. Wukong looked at the 2 and laughed. If you want, you can also become an artificial human, that's fine. Number 17 laughed. Forget it. It's better this way. Wukong waved his hand. Boom. Suddenly, there was a burst of explosions not far away, which attracted the attention of the 3. There seems to be Luya's direction. Wukong said with a change of face. Go and have a look. Number 17 rushed out after saying that. The 2 of Wukong quickly followed. On the other side, Luya, who was in normal state, looked in one direction with a strange expression, and there were several people, 3 women and 2 men. But what makes Luya embarrassed is that those women are the most embarrassing embarrassment of the power conference. A player from the 2nd universe. Hee, the 7th universe, finally let me find you. Now, let my 2nd universe deal with you. Among them, a beautiful girl smiled gracefully and pointed to Luyado. Oh, I heard about you. It is said that you will transform, or else, let's go together. How about everyone not transforming? He saw the other's face and wanted to take off his shoes and fight. Oh, I didn't expect you to have heard of us. It's a bit interesting, but this is not a reason for us to be merciful. I, Librarian, will lead the sisters, carry the will of the 2nd universe, protect the beauty of the universe, and treat you all destroyed in one fell swoop. Librarian said proudly. I'm Sue, a purple-haired girl said to her left. I'm Senka, a brown girl laughed at her right. The witch warrior of the 2nd universe. Yeah, it's coming. The time has finally come, said the old king god of the 2nd universe excitedly. Let us, the strongest witch warrior in the 2nd universe, bloom beautiful flowers on the battlefield. The 2nd universe god of destruction said gracefully. Beautiful flowers. What? Beerus' mouth twitched, embarrassed for the other party. Really, what are you talking about? The old god of the realm was also speechless. Come on Librarian, let them see your beauty. The god of destruction in the 2nd universe didn't feel embarrassed at all, but rather proud of it. Then, let's do it next time. Sue, Senka, Librarian laughed. Yes, the 2 girls also responded. What are you talking about? At this time, Vegeta, Goku and the others were all looking at the women, somewhat baffled. Undoubtedly, they are all fighting madmen, but they don't know how to appreciate them at all. Luya also watched this scene speechlessly, and an embarrassing scene was about to appear. What are they doing? Number 17 asked in confusion. On the 18th, instead of watching the scene, he said lightly, who knows what boring things are. Hey, let's transform. Librarian laughed. Styling. Brienne, Brienne, Brienne. Styling. Sang sang. Kako, sang kako. Styling. Susu, Suluo Suluo, Susuluo Suluo. Nima, I am embarrassed to write. Suddenly, a dazzling light directly wrapped them, and at the same time, their bodies were undergoing new changes. What is this? Why does it look like a children's dance party? Beerus said speechlessly. Shut up. This is a ritual, as expected of a backward universe. It doesn't understand beauty at all. The second universe god of destruction said gracefully. Everyone in the seventh universe. Oh, wouldn't that be a transformation to increase power? Wukong looked at the scene in anticipation. Hey, gorgeous, Vegeta said with some disgust. Just as everyone was waiting for the transformation of the three, suddenly, two dazzling energy waves hit them directly. Quote question mark question mark question mark. Everyone was shocked, and when they reacted, two energy waves had already hit the three girls directly. Boom. With an explosion, the transformation came to an abrupt end. What's the matter? The god of destruction of the second universe was directly pissed off, his face full of anger. Goku and the others also looked at the person who launched the attack. Luya, number 17. What are you two doing? Wukong asked helplessly. Sorry, I really couldn't hold back. Luya said lightly. I was thinking that when I watched them transform, there was a lot of flaws, shouldn't I take the opportunity to solve them? Number 17 said of course. But it's very impolite for you to interrupt people's transformation like this, at least let's see what they are capable of. Wukong said with a wry smile. Okay, then it's up to you, I don't care. Number 17 shrugged, then leaned aside to himself. Hey, why did you destroy our transformation? Librarian's face was crooked, and he glared at Luya angrily. Humph, it's ridiculous, you know, we are enemies, which wise guy will wait for you to successfully transform? Luya sneered. Wukong. You bastard, it's so hateful. The second daughter of Senka also stared at Luya angrily. Even if you transform, if you don't make a move, count me as a loser. Luya said lightly. Presumptuous. You are so rude. At this time, Topo slipped out of nowhere, pointed at Luya and said, this is a perfect ceremony. How dare you spoil it? Oh, do you want to stand up for them? Luya smiled and looked at Topo. Another Saiyan in the seventh universe, let me learn the tricks. Topo looked at Luya, not to be outdone. Humph. Luya sneered. Nima, he couldn't bear this kind of stuff to make a fuss here, and he didn't understand that this kind of embarrassing operation was committed by cancer. Everyone can watch it, is there any problem with aesthetics? Boom. Immediately, Luya directly exerted his strength and transformed into a Super Saiyan. The next moment he rushed straight towards Topo. Topo was not afraid at all, but instead said to Librarian and the others, go and complete your ritual. I will block this outlaw. Thank you. The three of Librarian were extremely grateful. Who knew that Topo was still arrogant in a pose, and then rushed towards Luya. Soon, the two fought together. Are we sure we're not going to help? Number 17 glanced at the field and asked immediately. Wukong smiled, and then said to Librarian and the others, hey. Hurry up and show me your transformation, I'm really looking forward to it. If that's the case, then it's as you wish. Librarian suddenly revealed a strange smile. Chapter 155_Battle Witch Warrior Librarian. Without no one to stop them, the three witch warriors immediately started their own transformations. It was another awkward dance, and then, a ray of light enveloped them. Here, Wukong said excitedly. Huh. Luya and Topo are also separated. Neither of them fought seriously. Topo just wanted to hold Luya back, but Luya felt the power of Topo. Undoubtedly, if you want to defeat the other party, I am afraid you can only start the Super Saiyans or Red. And Topo naturally saw that Luya did not use his full strength, but he was not afraid at all, and his body floated towards the back. My mission has been completed. I will compete with you next time. After speaking, Toko immediately disappeared. Luya glanced at the direction in which Toko disappeared, and then he thought of something. He suddenly looked at the transformation in the field, and couldn't help but twitch at the corners of his mouth. This. In the heights, a pink fat man posed an elegant posture, and behind her, there were a magical girl and an orc catwoman. It's time to witness the miracle. This is our second universe. The power of love, said the second universe god of destruction excitedly. Everyone in the seventh universe. Come on, after waiting for so long, let us see your power. Vegeta looked at them indifferently. That's good. Since that's the case, let's take this love. Senka and Sue said excitedly. Dedicate it to everyone. Librarian opened his hands, and then, an inexplicable power radiated from the three of them. Then, 3 heart-shaped lights of different colors floated up, and then, Librarian suddenly merged the 3 forces, and suddenly, she suddenly smiled. Go. The light of the power of love. Swish. Suddenly, the giant heart suddenly emitted countless careful-shaped energies. And everything that touched them was blown up, and at the same time a pink smoke suddenly dispersed, and for a while, a special smell suddenly filled the field. What's the smell? Gohan and the others frowned, obviously disgusted by these powder mists. It stinks. King Frieza, such a noble person, also covered his nose in disgust. Wukong and others were not affected, but they still had to avoid these attacks, otherwise it would not be a good thing to be bombed. What can be seen is that when the players from other universes smelled the fragrance, their faces turned a little red, obviously they were affected by the smell. In their perception, these smells are wonderful. However, everyone was not careless, but avoided those dense attacks one after another. This is the light of love. Anyone who smells your fragrance will surrender and know the charm of beauty. The second cosmic god of destruction was still there. However, Beerus and the others have no influence. Beerus said unhappily, What are these guys doing? Won't Wukong and the others be affected? Kai Shen said with some worry. Probably not. It seems that Wukong and the others have a knack for restraining themselves, and even the old man was not confused enough to reassure us. Weiss said with a slight smile. Sure enough, Turtle Immortal was not affected by those pink gases. Not to mention Luya, when he smelled these smells, although he was affected for a moment, but fortunately his will was still okay, and when he thought of the fat woman, he felt a little nauseated, and immediately immune to damage. Hoa ho ho, how's it going? This is the power of the light of love. Librarian said proudly. That's it. Don't tell me you waste so much time transforming, you only have this strength. Vegeta said with a look of disgust. Of course not, now is the real start. Librarian smiled slightly, and then said to the other 2 companions, Sue, Senka, you have to be careful. Yes, you too, the 2 women said at the same time. Very good, let's go. Librarian smiled, and then bore the brunt of it, rushing directly towards Vegeta. The other 2 women and other members of the second universe also rushed out directly towards the members of the seventh universe. Come on. Wukong laughed, and immediately rushed out. The 17th and 18th followed suit. Others did not intervene, because the enemies of other universes also came back to their senses and attacked them. Vegeta's eyes were a little cold, and he was very annoyed by this kind of bells and whistles, so he had already been suffocated just now. Just when Vegeta was about to rush out, Luya's figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Leave this fat to me, I have endured her for a long time. After that, he rushed out directly towards Librarian. Vegeta was a little dissatisfied. That's my prey. Seeing the 2 directly entering the fierce battle, Vegeta wanted to stop it, but at this time, a tall and fat man stood in front of him. The 7th universe, I will fight you now. Vegeta's face froze in vain. What kind of thing are you? You also stand in my way, Vegeta. Go away, said. Vegeta suddenly rushed towards the big man. Boom, boom, boom. The fierce battle was staged directly, and then, countless bombings ignited in the field, which was wonderful. Oh, It's amazing. The two Quan Wangs were also very excited and happy. The Grand Priest smiled and said, now we are in the state of a true master duel. Those who can stay are the elites of the elites. ... Bump bump. Luya and Librarian fought fiercely. I have to say that although Librarian's figure has become fat, his speed is very amazing. It was possible to fight back and forth with Luya. Boom. For a time, the two of them were surrounded by energy bombs that were blown away, and then they exploded in an instant, and the power emitted directly destroyed the four places. Not bad. It's so powerful. Librarian kept smiling all the time. Luya frowned. Can you not laugh? You are already disgusting enough. I don't even have the desire to fight when I laugh. How can ordinary people like you understand our beauty? HMPH. Let me teach you how to respect people. Librarian suddenly condensed into countless pink energies, and then kept bombarding Luya. Luya's eyes turned cold, and then he shouted angrily. The next moment, he suddenly shouted, and then, a powerful breath burst out from his body, and then, the golden power radiated directly, blowing the opponent's attack. Scattered. Luya looked at Librarian. I have no interest in listening to you fooling around here. You disgusting fellow. After he finished speaking, he teleported directly to the opponent and made a fierce move, which Librarian directly blocked. The two broke out into a fierce confrontation again. Very good. That's it. Hold on, throw these disgusting things down. Beerus cheered. Humph. Ignorance. How can the beauty of our second universe be understood by you vulgar guys? The god of destruction of second universe said indifferently. I agree. Their transformations are full of rituals, and they maintain due respect for beauty. Therefore, those who maliciously speculate about them do not understand the connotation. The gods of other universes also expressed their solidarity. Beerus' face is full of black lines. Nima, do you have any misunderstandings about beauty? Ha ha ha. Come on. Let's fight. Librarian became harder and harder in the battle with Luya, and his attacks became more and more sharp. Repel Luya with a heavy kick, and Librarian suddenly spun wildly and rushed towards Luya. Just like Hot Wheels, but the face that makes people unable to eat keeps appearing. Luya's stomach suddenly felt uncomfortable. He understood why Vegeta had such an expression when he fought against Librarian. Damn it. Suddenly, Luya finally broke out. He directly raised his breath again, and then his hair suddenly grew wild. Become a Super Saiyan Tier 3. The power explodes directly. What? Luya didn't dodge or dodge, and punched Librarian directly. Boom. With a muffled sound, the two collided, and a huge wave of air swept straight away. P.S. Guys, I was wrong. You just need to generate electricity for love. Don't urge the update talisman. It's only the 28th, and the reminder talisman sent has already allowed me to guarantee the 7th chapter of the update. Don't. It's almost done. Chapter 7 is enough. Chapter 156_Mighty number 17. Boom. Under the huge explosion, a figure flew out directly and smashed into the boulder. Luya looked at this scene expressionlessly, and the power that erupted was extremely powerful. This is the power of Super Saiyan 3. Oh, no, how could Librarian be defeated? The god of destruction in the second universe also changed his face, and said with some worry. But at this time, no players got away to save people, because they were all entangled by their opponents. Now is the time for one-on-one. Wukong and Su were fighting. The latter's attack speed was very fast. When he punched, it condensed countless energy balls condensed from chi. At this time, number 17 and number 18 were fighting Catwoman and Baikar, who appeared in time, but number 17 easily defeated the other two. The second universe Kakinsha and Bakar were directly defeated and eliminated. End the battle as soon as possible. And the situation on their side was also noticed, and immediately, both Librarian and Sus expressions changed greatly. Kakinsha. The latter is their combination, but they have been kicked out of the game now, which is not a small blow to them. Librarian, who was repelled by Luya, suddenly swept away directly into the distance. Luya looked at this scene with no expression on his face, and did not remove the form of Super 3. For him, Super 3 has not consumed a lot of physical strength, so maintaining Super 3 is the same as ordinary Super Saiyan. On the other side, Librarian went directly to number 17. You Dark Warrior, you defeated Kakansha, I want to avenge Kakansha. Really, you can try it and see if you can do it. Number 17 said lightly, blocking the opponent's attack with ease. At the same time, number 17 will never show mercy to his opponent, even if the opponent is a woman. Of course, not to mention this ugly poor fat woman. The two started the fight directly, and bursts of powerful forces raged. The speed of the two of them was fast to the extreme. Librarian was wrapped in pink light, and his breath was good. On the other side, Goku is dodging constantly, because the opponent's attack is not weak, and the speed is very fast. He could only keep dodging. Rotten. Sue kept blasting air bombs, as if her energy was inexhaustible. At this time, Wukong suddenly performed teleportation, and then, he appeared directly behind Sue, and immediately kicked him flying. The latter screamed directly and crashed into the rock. I've seen through your moves. Wukong looked at the other party confidently and said. Damn, how could this be? Sue stood up embarrassedly, and then she was about to start. But Wukong was even faster. I saw that Wukong had appeared around her at this time, and he was constantly releasing energy bombs, directly blocking the opponent's retreat. Not good. Su's face changed greatly, but she didn't know how to escape. Send you a ride. Wukong laughed, then rushed directly in front of Sue. A powerful energy bomb was launched, and other energy bombs were immediately detonated. The latter screamed directly, and flew out, and finally smashed on the edge of the ring. Not good. The expressions of the gods in the second universe changed. Come on. Kakansha and the others all cheered and shouted. Sue struggled to sit up and looked at Sun Wukong weakly. The seventh universe Sun Wukong is really strong. Hey, can you be eliminated now? Do you jump off yourself, or will I give you a ride? Wukong laughed. Damn, do I really have to stop here? Sue couldn't accept it. Goku, throw her down. Don't grind. Seeing this scene, Beerus hurriedly shouted for fear of right and wrong. Wukong nodded, then looked at Sue and stretched out his hand. Then, goodbye. After he finished speaking, he concentrated energy in his hands. But at this moment, Librarian suddenly appeared, stood in front of Sue, and looked at Wukong vigilantly. I won't let you hurt my companion. Librarian. Sue looked at the rescued Librarian with some emotion. Sue, are you alright? Library looked at the latter in pain. Well, I'm fine, thank you, Librarian. Sue stood up and said firmly. Stop talking nonsense. If you jump down by yourself, we won't be too lazy to do it. Number 17 walked out of nowhere and looked at the two of them lightly. Damn it. Damn Dark Warrior, how dare to attack the beautiful girl so ruthlessly? Librarian said angrily. In that case, let's do it ourselves. Number 17 is no nonsense, and directly gathers strength. What should I do? My beautiful girl, the god of destruction in the second universe said sadly. Don't worry, there are usually knights guarding beside the beautiful girl. The old king of the realm said lightly. The words just fell, and then, a figure appeared behind Librarian and the others. Two princesses, forgive me for being late. Let's go. As he said that, he was about to leave with Librarian, but at this moment, a voice suddenly came. Go, how can it be that simple? Who? The soldier was startled. Suddenly, an afterimage appeared directly in front of the warrior, and a punch directly knocked him off the ring. Luya. Wukong was stunned for a moment, and then said with some surprise. Seeing this, the two Librarian women immediately hid in horror. You guy. Librarian glared at Luya angrily. Long golden hair fluttered and his face was cold. I think it's better not to let you stay here. He decided to directly deal with the people in the second universe, especially these two women. If they were to gather all the power of the second universe, it would be a little troublesome. In the second universe, there are still 6 people left, so he will solve these 2 people now. Interesting, exactly what I want. I also see them very upset. Number 17 walked slowly and stood beside Luya. Wukong glanced at them, then smiled and said, then I'll leave it to you, 2 on 2, just right. No problem, number 17 said lightly, but his tone was very confident. Wukong said hello and went directly to deal with the masters of other universes. Luya looked at the 2 people opposite and immediately said, which one do you want? No, 17 looked at the fat woman and was about to speak, but Luya suddenly said, I'll deal with the fat woman, and the rest is left to you. After that, he rushed out directly towards Librarian. No, 17. That way, you won't be challenged anymore. Damn, don't underestimate us, Librarian said angrily, and then rushed directly towards Luya. I can do it. Sus' expression became firm, and then she looked at number 17. Come on, I will definitely not lose. Then I'll talk when you win. Number 17 said indifferently, and then he turned into an afterimage and rushed out. 2 to 2, 4 people directly start a fierce battle. Chapter 157_overwhelming attack. As the fight progressed, there were also people who quit one after another from each universe. There are also fewer and fewer people left in each universe. Of course, there are still very many people left in some universes. The universe that is closest to destruction now is the 10th universe, because there are only 2 people left in the 10th universe at this time. And these 2 players are playing against Gohan and Piccolo at this time, and one of them is named Wabni. When he fought with Gohan, he actually suppressed Gohan for a while, because his movement was very strange, so strange that it was like an afterimage fist. Among them, it was difficult for Gohan, who was good at perceiving chi, to identify which of the other party was the real body, which also led to Gohan being in a passive situation all the time. The other opponent was named Rubart. He fought against Piccolo, but he didn't fall behind. And their battle is of great significance, because if Wabni loses, then their 10th universe will be destroyed. Of course, if Gohan loses, Universe 7 will lose an ace. On the other side, there was a knockout again in the 7th universe. The second knockout was the turtle immortal teacher Wu Tian. He defeated several opponents, and his own consumption was also very huge. At this time, he was already on the verge of running out of oil. The most important thing is that when he was consuming a lot, he was also attacked by Frost in the 6th universe, and he was injured even more. In the end, if he didn't use the magic seal wave to deal with Vegeta, I am afraid that the next time the old man will be very bad. It was tragic. This demon-like killer would not easily eliminate the old man, and would certainly torture the old man. Fortunately, in the end, Vegeta has successfully escaped the predicament, and forced Frost to retreat, but the old man's state is really unable to stay in the ring, so he can only take the initiative to jump off the ring. But Beerus and the others didn't mean to blame him. In their opinion, Teacher Wu Tian was a respectable old man, and his sacrifice was something that could not be done. Fortunately, Teacher Wu Tian turned the tide before he was eliminated. Directly eliminated 3 opponents. It makes the pressure of the 7th universe a little smaller. The players of the 2nd universe, listen, go and help Librarian. Don't let her get hurt. At this moment, the 2nd universe god of destruction suddenly shouted loudly. At the same time, the players of the 2nd universe rushed towards the battlefield where Librarian was located. At this time, number 17 is suppressing Su. The latter's state is not the opponent of number 17 at all, and defeat is only a matter of time. And Luya didn't give in too much. Under the powerful power of Super Saiyan 3, Luya directly forced Librarian to retreat. How is that possible? Why do Saiyans have this kind of power? Such evil power. Librarian couldn't believe it, and he couldn't accept that the opponent's power was superior to her. Luya looked at Librarian, and then said lightly, "What? Is this your power after your transformation? Why is this? Can't laugh. Bastard. I will never let you go. You are a dark warrior just like the other guys in the 7th universe." Librarian said angrily. Dark Warrior. HMPH, I don't have any opinion on this. After all, my power is above yours. That's enough, Luya said lightly without ranting about the other party at all. I want to guard love and use the power of love to defeat evil. Librarian took a pose, and then suddenly condensed into a heart-shaped pink energy bomb. The next moment, she launched it directly at Luya. Luya sneered, then burst out in vain, and stretched out a hand lightly. In the next second, he gathered strength in his hand and directly blocked the heart-shaped attack. At the same time, Luya made a burst of force and directly shocked the heart-shaped energy. Broken. How? Your power? Librarian's eyes widened in disbelief. Luya jokingly said, you really don't understand the power of saiyans. It's okay, it's normal for you to show me your ugly knowledge, and it's normal not to know. Hey, you saiyans in the 7th universe are the warriors of darkness. You are addicted to war. If you put them in my universe, you will definitely be rejected by everyone. Librarian said solemnly. You make it clear that we are not from the same universe, so what do you think of us in the universe is a matter for me. Luya sneered, and then suddenly he was downgraded one level and became Super Saiyan 2. I changed my mind, let you see the real power in the 2nd universe. Luya flickered with a sneer. Humph. Rude Saiyan. My power of love will never be lost to you. Librarian snorted coldly, and then his body suddenly filled with pink power, and suddenly, a powerful breath suddenly erupted from her body, and then, Librarian rushed directly to Luya. Luya's eyes turned cold, and the next moment he suddenly appeared behind Librarian. Oops. When? Librarian was shocked, but before she had time to dodge, Luya's knee hit her directly to the sky. In the next second, Luya shot into the sky like a cannonball. Suddenly, Luya jumped above Librarian, another critical strike. The latter's fat body fell directly. The ground directly smashed a huge pit. Librarian, the second god of destruction's expression changed, but at this time, there was no one in Librarian to save her, because almost all the other players in the 2nd universe were entangled. Everyone, deal with the 2nd universe first. Throw them all down, Beerus shouted. No, 18, number 17, Goku, Luya, Vegeta, Frieza, all are the players who stopped the 2nd universe. Ho ha ho, do you have something fun again? Then I'll be more respectful than obedient. Frieza's eyes were gloomy, but with a sly look on his face, he calmly faced the opponent in front of him. Under the strong attack of Wukong and the others, the players of the 2nd universe were not their opponents at all, and it didn't take long for some people to be eliminated. Sure enough, it had to be Prince Vegeta who was ruthless, and he was the first to eliminate his opponent. On the other side, Luya also noticed the situation over there, and then looked at Librarian and said, you should have the last cards, right? However, because your teammates have been held back now, so, it's nothing but a bear commander now. Librarian stood up, she looked at Luya, and gritted her teeth, I will never give in to you. The safety of the 2nd universe is resolved by me, and the love of the 2nd universe is guarded by me. Quote. Saying that, she broke out again, and a powerful force erupted directly. Immediately, the cyclone around him was raging directly, which was extremely terrifying. But this is inconspicuous in Luya's eyes. If this is what you look like after your transformation, then I won't waste any more time now, and I will throw you down mercilessly. You ugly bastard. Boom. In an instant, Luya burst out with a powerful force, and the soaring golden light burst out directly suppressing Librarian in his aura. P.S. I had a feast today and came back in the evening, painful and happy. Chapter 158 The Final Battle, The Crisis of the 2nd Universe. The power of Super Saiyan continues to expand. At this moment, Luya doesn't play anymore, he is using the power of Super Saiyan Tier 2 to the extreme. Even if it's only a 2nd tier Super Saiyan, the breath is above Librarian. Not to mention. Luya pointed his toes, and in the next second, he rushed directly to Librarian, with a crazy output, and his fists like raindrops kept bombarding Librarian. Of course, Librarian is not willing to be beaten, her strength has reached the limit, the powerful powder group is constantly moving around when fighting with Luya, and bright explosions sounded, and the situation on the field incredibly intense. Speaking of our 7th universe, dealing with 2 universes at the same time, will this consume a lot of money? Klein asked with some concern. It's nothing, because Wukong and the others didn't use their real power, at best they just use them to practice their skills. Unless they encounter a slightly stronger opponent, they will save their physical strength. They have a sense of proportion in their hearts. Let's not worry about it. Teacher Wu Tian said slowly. Humph. These guys are nothing more than rubbish dogs. Goku and the others don't need to be entangled with them at all. What a worrying guy, Beerus said with some dissatisfaction. That's not what Beerus is saying. For Goku and the others, this game is not just about working hard for the survival of the universe, but also an opportunity for them to get to know the masters of other universes. If you can learn a lot through this power conference, so, we also need to relax our minds and watch the game carefully. Weiss suddenly said. Humph. Beerus snorted coldly. What's the matter? Hurry up and move me from the 6th universe. At this moment, Shanka was riding on Magida excitedly, shouting continuously towards the field. Their 6th universe has eliminated 2 people, but the number is still very large, so this is their chance. Under Shanka's order, the warriors of the 6th universes all dispatched one after another. Hitter eliminated a player from the 3rd universe without breaking a sweat. The opponent was a robot, but in the face of Hitter's overwhelming power, it couldn't stop it at all. At this time, a soldier in red found him. You are Hit from the 6th universe. I heard that you can do flash time. Then, let me decipher your flash time skill now. The person who came was Tispo from the 11th universe. Oh, is that so? Hit's face was calm, but he still put on a stance. If the other party dared to say that, he must have his own trump card. Hee hee. Tispo showed a weird smile, and the next moment, he suddenly rushed directly towards Hitter. Hit's pupils shrank, and the next moment, when he directly urged the flash, the time cage directly solidified the space around him. But the next second, Tispo suddenly broke through his shackles and punched Hit in the face. How is that possible? The flashing time skill has no effect. Shangpa's face suddenly turned dark. Hit stood up from the ruins and looked at Tispo. How is that possible? Humph. My speed has surpassed your flash time. Tispo said proudly. Hit from Universe 6 is nothing special. Come again. Hit's eyes turned cold, and he rushed out. Ellipsis. On the other hand, Caulifla and Kaylee are also fighting against other universe players, but the 2 sisters are getting stronger and stronger at this time. Kaylee has successfully transformed into a Super Saiyan in a desperate situation, and he is not an ordinary Super Saiyan. The strength has caught up with Caulifla. ... Under a series of sound explosions, Luya directly suppressed Librarian. In the process of hitting, it was difficult for the opponent to keep up with his speed, so he was constantly punched a few times. Ha! Bump! Luya put an elbow and hit Librarian's chin directly. The latter leaned back, and before she could react, Luya had already reached above her and smashed her directly into the ground. Swish! Boom! Boom! At the same time, Luya directly played the prince's tactics, directly bombarding Librarian on the ground, and bursts of smoke rose. Impossible! Librarian! The gods of the 2nd universe panicked. Librarian was the most powerful core of their 2nd universe. If she lost, their 2nd universe would not be far from extinction. Those players in the 2nd universe were all suppressed by the people in the 7th universe at this time. Compared with the players in the 2nd universe, their power was simply very powerful. Boom! Ah! With a scream, a player from the 2nd universe fell directly into the ring and announced his elimination. And the person who shot was Frieza, and this guy still showed an unfinished look. At the same time, following him, another female scream fell. It was Sue. She was eliminated by number 17. On the 17th, there is no pressure to deal with the other party. At the same time, all the players in the 2nd universe were eliminated one after another, and in the end, only Librarian was left. Very good. Throw that woman down. Luya, come on. Beerus was directly excited when he saw this scene, and in this way, another universe could be eliminated. Everyone also focused their attention on the battle between Luya and Librarian. Looks like Luya is very good at it, Krillin said with some joy. At this time, Luya, who fired countless air bombs, also stopped and looked down. The smoke quickly dissipated, revealing Librarian's figure. At this time, the other party was a little embarrassed, and his whole body was injured and his clothes were damaged. But Luya didn't mean to pity at all, but looked at each other lightly. Your companions have all been eliminated, do you have any last words? How could this happen? The power of love, why did you lose? Why? Librarian couldn't believe it, and couldn't accept it. Suddenly, the pink light suddenly became a little darker on her body. Smell. Luya frowned. Since this is the case, then I can only give up love and fight with you to the end. Librarian suddenly burst out with a powerful force, and then, she suddenly began to condense energy, and then, a huge energy group suddenly formed, and the power is still increasing. Seeing this scene, Luya also understood that the other party was going to fight to the death, and immediately sneered. It's just the last struggle, even if you abandon the so-called love, nothing will change. After finishing speaking, Luya burst into anger in vain, and then, he also made a big move directly. Turtle, Pi, Chi, Gong. Swish. The huge dazzling light spread out, and the next moment, Luya's power condensed, and the breath shook. Shut up, you dark warrior. To defeat you, you must deal with you with the power of darkness. Librarian shouted angrily, and she shoved the huge heart-shaped energy group out. Luya sneered disdainfully. Abandoning your beliefs in order to win, you will never improve anyway. After speaking, Luya directly blasted out the Turtle School Qigong. Chapter 159_2 universes are eliminated one after another. Boom. The two forces collided directly, and in a short time, everything around was immediately destroyed. The two energy balls are fiercely entangled, and neither will let anyone else. Come on, Librarian, shouted the god of destruction in the second universe. Come on, Librarian, we believe in you. The second space warriors also cheered. Everyone, I'm sorry, I abandoned the power of love in this way. Tears appeared in Librarian's eyes. Luya frowned. Nima, what the hell? There won't be a miracle yet, will it? And I'm afraid of what's coming. At this moment, the pink power suddenly gathers towards Librarian from the auditorium of the second universe, and then, her power is actually increasing. That woman's power is increasing. Vegeta felt that Librarian's power was constantly increasing. Should we help? Number 17 looked at the field and said. No, let Luya solve it directly, he can. Wukong said confidently. Humph. Saiyan's dignity cannot be trampled on. If he is incompetent, he deserves to be beaten. Vegeta snorted coldly. He generally resists this kind of help, especially when he is a Saiyan. People. That's it. That's fine. Number 17 shrugged, and then he swept straight into the distance, looking for other opponents. As this, everyone's expectations for me, love for me. Librarian also felt that a steady stream of power was rising in her body, and she was a little surprised, and then she suddenly woke up. Yes, only everyone's support for me will expand love to the highest level. Boom. The next moment, a terrifying force erupted, and then, Librarian looked at Luya. I'm sorry, I won't lose, my partner, don't allow me to lose. I want to fill the entire ring with love. Drink. Quote. Suddenly, with the blessing of a huge power, Librarian's power suddenly soared to an extremely astonishing height, and the power directly gradually suppressed Luya's turtle Qigong. Luya frowned slightly, then suddenly increased the output, and suddenly he directly took the opponent's attack. But Rao is so, Luya is also somewhat difficult to resist the increasingly strong power of the other party. That's it. On behalf of all the creatures in the second universe, I convey the power of love to Librarian. Let the light of hope of love accompany you to fight all the time. The god of destruction in the second universe suddenly spread his hands. It looks like she wants to purify all living beings, but the effect is very amazing, because suddenly a very powerful pink light is emitted from her body, and these pink light directly converges towards Librarian. This is the love of the people of the whole universe, said the second universe god of destruction proudly. Why, this is a foul, Beerus said with some dissatisfaction. Sorry, Lord Quanwang said, this is not a foul. So, it is understandable. The Grand Priest suddenly explained with a smile. How could? The seventh universe realm king god gritted his teeth. The purpose of King Quan is to make the power conference more exciting, so that he can watch it happily, and as long as he is happy, then some rules that are not rules can be considered as appropriate. At this time, Librarian's power has reached a very terrifying level, even directly surpassing Luya. What kind of power is this? Vegeta asked in surprise. It is said that it gathers the power of love in the second universe, and the effect should be similar to that of the Vitality Bomb. Wukong said thoughtfully. Is this going to help? Number 18 hugged his chest and watched this scene. Well, Wukong hesitated. And at this moment, Luya suddenly said, this is the power of your entire universe. If this is the case, it will be very disappointing. Quote ? Everyone looked at Luya in confusion. What do you know? You don't understand the power of everyone's love. Justice will always defeat evil. Librarian shouted, and continued to strengthen the power output. The giant heart energy group has been constantly approaching Luya and pushing back the latter's turtle qigong. Justice. Sorry, forgive me for laughing unkindly. It's ridiculous to be a guy with a mouth full of justice. In front of absolute power, everything is garbage. Luya sneered, and the next moment, he suddenly became angry. He shouted, what about the power of the entire universe? Watch me break the universe with one force. Drink In an instant, Luya's breath suddenly soared, and a powerful force swept out. Suddenly, a huge red beam of light shot up into the sky. At this moment, everyone turned their attention to this side. This amazing power. Toko of Universe 11 looked at Luya's figure with some complexity. Jiren didn't feel anything at all. Of course, at first, there was a wave in his eyes, but it was so subtle that no one noticed. What kind of species is the Saiyan in the seventh universe? The Kaiken god of the third universe said with some astonishment. I thought Jiren of the 11th universe had not studied it, but I didn't expect that this Saiyan. It is unbelievable that such a terrifying power can burst out. The angel explained. Lord Moscow said that the plan will be carried out as usual. After the explosion, Luya turned directly into Super Saiyan Red. Now, let's show you the real power. Luya looked at Librarian, and the next moment, he gathered his energy in vain. Turtle, Pi, Chi, Gong. What? With a roar, Luya suddenly burst out with a terrifying Qigong wave, and when this Qigong wave came out, it turned out to directly suppress Librarian's power. How could this be? It's impossible. How can his power overcome my power? Librarian couldn't believe it. She gathered the beliefs of the entire universe. How could she be so weak? The power of the universe is powerful, but you don't have the slightest purity. With your ambition, how could you possibly have mastered the power of the universe? Luya sneered, and then he violently exerted his strength. Come on. You should out. Ah! Librarian screamed, facing Luya's overwhelming power. She had no chance to resist. Boom. For a time, a terrifying shock wave directly drowned Librarian. The latter's fat figure was also blown away directly. Ah! With a scream, Librarian's body fell directly into the ring. It's over. Everyone in the second universe turned pale. I announce that in the second universe, Brian is out, and at the same time, all the members of the second universe are out. According to the rules, the second universe will be destroyed. The Grand Priest announced. Everyone in the second universe was full of disappointment. They didn't expect that they would lose like this. Hey, the two Quanwongs didn't even have any ink marks. They stretched out their hands and shook it. Swish. The second universe has all disappeared. Boom. Suddenly, two more figures appeared in the auditorium. How could this be? Even us. The 10th universe god of destruction said in disbelief. Their last two players were also eliminated. And it was Gohan and Piccolo who eliminated them. The 10th universe player Wagner and the Rubart player are eliminated, and at the same time, all the players in the 10th universe are eliminated. After the second universe, they will be eliminated. The great priest said indifferently. It's so fast. Zuo Quanwong sighed a little. Another universe will be eliminated soon. King Yuquan said excitedly. The 10th universe, hold it. The two Quanwongs directly wiped it out. The 10th universe, eliminated. Everyone is complicated, because they actually destroyed two universes one after another. This kind of strength is quite terrifying. And what makes them even more jealous is that the three universes that have been eliminated so far are all eliminated by the 7th universe. Enough to prove the strength of the 7th universe. P.S. I have received nearly 60 reminders, and I promise you that there will be an update at the end of the month. That is, tomorrow, 10 reminders will add one more chapter. Friendly reminder. Don't blindly brush gifts, especially students. It is not necessary, otherwise you will eat the 7 wolves of your parents. Consume rationally. I will add more when you brush gifts. It is all voluntary. Think clearly and then do it. You can spend time generating electricity for love. 3 videos have been very supportive of me. Thank you. Chapter 160_White Hot. Majin Buu's ability. The second universe, the 10th universe, the elimination of the two universes made the atmosphere in the field even more tense. And everyone realized that it was a wrong choice to provoke the 7th universe. Whether it was the 9th universe that was eliminated early before, or the two universes now, they have always been enemies of the 7th universe, so they were killed by their opponents. This also lets the remaining universes know that the strength of the 7th universe is extraordinary. Unbelievable, the 7th universe has broken the siege of the 3 universes by itself. This kind of strength is very surprising. The 3rd universe's king god pushed his glasses, and said something meaningful. However, our next goal is to test out the strength of the strongest warrior Jiren. The 7th universe is not worth taking seriously so far. Suddenly, the 3rd universe king god showed a vague smile. At the same time, in the field, Luya fell to the ground and returned to normal. The battle just now was also exhausting for him, but his strength became stronger and stronger with the fight. He still has to take a good rest now, and for the final battle, he has to recover. The remaining universes now include the 3rd universe, the 4th universe, the 6th universe, the 7th universe, and the 11th universe. Among these 5 universes, the 7th universe has the largest number of people, but the strongest is the 11th universe with the smallest number of people. Jiren alone can suppress everyone. At this time, Hit was in a battle with Tispo, and Hyder was still at a disadvantage. Although he could see Tispo's weakness, unfortunately, the opponent's speed was too fast, surpassing the speed of sound. So he is still at a disadvantage for the time being. But soon, Goku joined the battle, and he directly transformed into the form of the Super Saiyan God to join forces with Hit. Only barely saw through Tispo's weakness. On the other hand, Gohan, Piccolo, and others also encountered powerful enemies. The enemies hiding in the dark were the most terrifying. They were being attacked by invisible enemies in the dark, and they might even fall into a hard battle. Vegeta is fighting against Gabe in the 6th universe. Under the guidance of Vegeta, Gabe directly and successfully transformed into a 2nd-tier Super Saiyan. Suddenly, the battle between the two was deadlocked. Luya was resting, but soon, he was disturbed by an uninvited guest. Swish. The silent liquid suddenly attacked. Luya's eyes froze, and then he slammed a bullet towards the opponent. Boom. Under the explosion, the liquid did not have any damage, and rushed directly towards Luya. It stuck to him like rubber. Ah! Luya understood. this is Maggie Caillou from the third universe. Have an extraordinary body. HMPH, I originally wanted to detect Jiren's power, but you are emerging at this time, so don't blame me for being rude. The Kaiwangshan of the third universe sneered. Caillou shrinks more and more, as if to suffocate Luyale. But, just because you want to test my strength. Too naive. Luya sneered, and then he suddenly drank, and the field exploded. Ah! Caillou screamed, and his body flew out. How is that possible? Not only the people in the third universe were surprised, but also the people in the seventh universe. Because at this time Luya's body actually broke several pieces like rubber. Luya, is this dismembered? Kaylin said in a cold sweat. It's not that simple, Luya, it seems that he has mastered an incredible trick. Weiss knew that it was not so one-sided. If you feel it, you will find that Luya's chi has not decreased at all. Teacher Wu Tian said slowly. What is this? Beerus frowned. The various broken bodies of Luya were floating, and suddenly, his body suddenly wriggled, and then, under the surprised eyes of everyone, Luya was reborn directly and turned into several Luya. Regeneration. Luya crooked his neck, and then said somewhat complicatedly, it's interesting, although the pain is only a moment, but it can be regenerated infinitely. This is the power of Majin Buu. In GT Time and Space, he defeated Majin Buu and obtained the opponent's regeneration technique, and Luya just had a whim and wanted to try his power, but he didn't expect it to be really different from what he thought. After the rebirth, Luya turned into several clones, and then they looked at Nakayu and grinned. You guy, you are unlucky. After speaking, several clones disappeared directly, and then, they appeared around Caillou and directly surrounded him. It's not good. Caillou himself was also terrified. Luya didn't give the opponent any back way, he directly stretched out his hand to aim at the opponent, and then gathered his strength. Boom! No accident, Caillou was directly blown away and fell into the ring. Caillou contestant from the third universe, eliminated. The great priest said faintly. How could this be? You were eliminated without even forcing the opponent's strength. The third realm king god said with some dissatisfaction. Caillou felt a little ashamed. Great. One more elimination. Beerus and the others were very happy. After a lot of eliminations, the players in the field are all elites. Next, the real contest begins. Weiss smiled, looking forward to it. Luya integrated the clone into himself and turned back into one person again, and then he glanced at the fragmented arena and fewer players, with a hint of excitement in his eyes, and the rest were all masters. Thinking of this, Luya suddenly turned his gaze to Jiren in the distance, with solemnity in his eyes. He may not be an opponent to fight against the opponent, but this powerful enemy must always be faced by himself. At the same time, Jiren also felt something, turned to look at Luya, his eyes were calm. The two looked at each other in the air, the smell of gunpowder was full. On the other hand, Gohan and Piccolo are dealing with a combination, which is very complicated. They can use the unknown sphere to reflect, and then reflect all the attacks out, so as to achieve the effect of carpet bombing. Makes nowhere to go. However, Piccolo also set an example and used himself as a target to attract firepower, and then let Gohan seize the opportunity to attack the opponent. In this way, they can also find the opponent's gap. Soon, in the case of Piccolo's successive injuries, Gohan stepped forward and directly defeated his opponent with great strength. The two players in the fourth universe are eliminated directly. The players of the fourth universe have all kinds of strange tricks, and it is very difficult to deal with. The constant elimination of the players makes Ketla a little unhappy in the fourth universe. Their fourth universe is about to run out of ammunition and food.